ఇప్పుడు ఫ్లవర్ పాట్స్ ఎవరు మేము ఆర్డర్ రాస్తాం. ఓకే, మీరు పిలిస్తే మేము వచ్చేస్తాం.
हाँ यूट्यूब यूट्यूब मारते हैं आप?
मार दिया सर। संजीव सर, संजीव सर, हाँ लिंक भेज दिया है।
हाँ, कौन सा लिंक? यूट्यूब का?
कभी आप स्टार्ट करते हैं उन लोग स्टार्ट करते हैं?
नहीं, अभी वो जब टीम शुरू हो जाएगा ना तब वो टीम वाला लगा देंगे।
मुझे इधर लिंक लगा देते हैं।
हाँ लिंक लगा देंगे। हाँ यहाँ पे मेरा स्पीकर आ रहा है सर। स्पीकर इसका इसमें आ रहा है। संजीव सर लिंक भेज दिया है।
इधर आ रहा है, इधर आ रहा है,
इधर आ रहा है ना सर?
उधर आ रहा है।
यहाँ जो भी बात कर रहे आ रहे हैं, इससे जा रहे हैं।
ये क्या है? यूट्यूब का चैनल है वो? नहीं, अपना स्टूडियोज का है
ये प्रिज्म।
हाँ,
इसके थ्रू लाइव।
प्रिज्म और यूट्यूब पे लिंक करते हो?
हाँ
इधर लिंक किधर है? यूट्यूब लिंक? हाँ हाँ, यूट्यूब लिंक उधर लगा दिया है। अरे जेपीजी क्या है? फिर फोटो है ना वो?
इसको लगा देगी ना अभी। अब ये लगाएंगे यहाँ चिन्ह।
दूसरा लगाते हैं, यूट्यूब चैनल का लिंक लगाते हैं।
अभी ये चिन्ह हुआ 10 सेकंड में। अभी मेरा स्पीकर इसमें जा रहा है सर।
आ रहा है। टीम्स में इधर
Also, I have sent Pani sir. I have sent the link.
यस ओके सर।
तो नाम लिखना है सेमिनार का, बड़ा रहता है उधर पार्टी का पहले काली क्या सेमिनार
And who is in charge?
टीम पे लिखा ये बोल तो लो।
आवाज आ रहा है सर यहाँ पे।
वो हमारा आपका तो रिजल्ट्स नहीं आते ये लिखो नेशनल सेमिनार फाइनेंशियल
సార్ ఇక్కడ అలౌ చేయాలి ఇది యూజ్ యువర్ కెమెరా యూజ్ యువర్ మైక్రోఫోన్స్ ఎలా అవుతాయి
हेलो फाइनेंशियल Shenanigans.
పేరు ఏం పేరు పెట్టు
నేషనల్ సెమినార్ ఆన్ ఫైనాన్షియల్ షెనానిగన్స్.
ఇది తక్కువ వస్తుంది సార్
ఎక్కడ
ఆన్లైన్ లో ఇట్లా పేరు దగ్గర ఈ పేరు వస్తుంది
రాయండి.
సరే
అంత పెద్దగా అవుతుంది ఫైనాన్షియల్ Shenanigans అని పెడితే అయిపోతుంది కదా. स्पीड है ना टाइपिंग में इधर टाइप करो फाइनेंशियल Shenanigans फाइनेंशियल
రాయండి కదా నేషనల్ సెమినార్ లోపలికి కానీ ముందు రావాలి. ఇదేంటి వాట్ ఈస్ ఇట్ ఈస్ లైక్ ఫైనాన్షియల్ మిస్కండక్ట్. వద్దు నేషనల్ సెమినార్ అని పెట్టండి.
అంత పొడుగుంది సెమినార్
ఫైనాన్షియల్ షెనానిగన్స్ అంటే ఫైనాన్షియల్ మిస్కండక్ట్. ఫైనాన్షియల్ మిస్కండక్ట్ చేస్తున్నట్టు పెట్టండి.
on if by
సార్ ఓకే నేను సైన్ అవుట్ చేస్తాను ఇది
వాట్సాప్ అయిపోయింది అది మళ్ళీ పోతే అది లింక్ కాపీ చేసుకోండి వాట్సాప్ అక్కడ సైన్ చేయండి ఇది కదా ఇదే కదా
ప్లస్ మైనస్
రెడీ అయిపోయిందా? మిగతా వాళ్ళు
सर
सर
ये जो है यहाँ पे ओपन है ये वाले सिस्टम है ना.
कौन सा वाला? हाँ हाँ
ओके तो जो भी बात कर रहे हैं वो आ रहा है.
ओके ओके राइट. సార్ కిందకి ఒకసారి అమ్మాయికి వైఫై కనెక్ట్ చేయాలి.
ఇక్కడ ఎవరిది
మేఘన ల్యాప్టాప్ కి
ల్యాప్టాప్
This you can connect me.
कहीं कुछ ज्वाइन नहीं होते यार टीम्स ऐप में कहीं कुछ ज्वाइन नहीं हो रही
हाँ on one light is one हाँ okay thank you
कल आया आज पे कि नहीं आ रहा
क्या नहीं आ रहा सर
ब्राउजर ही आ रहा खाली
ब्राउजर पे करो ना सर क्या प्रॉब्लम ब्राउजर करो
రికార్డ్ అవుతా టుమారో రికార్డ్ नहीं होगा టీమ్స్ యాప్ లో రావట్లేదు మేడం బ్రౌజర్ యాప్ లో వస్తుంది ఎందుకు ఇక్కడ ఆన్లైన్ లో ఉందా ఇది ఇక్కడ ఆల్రెడీ ఉందా అంటున్నాను
ఇప్పుడే జాయిన్ అయ్యారు కదా ఎవరు అక్కడ నేమ్ అంతా టైప్ చేశారు కదా
జాయిన్ అయ్యారు కానీ బ్రౌజర్ లో వస్తలేదు మేడం అది
అంటే నా ల్యాప్టాప్
వెబ్ఎక్స్ ఉందా ఎందుకో జాయిన్ అవ్వట్లేదు బ్రౌజర్ లో చేసారా
అంటే మనం కంట్రోల్ ఉంటుందా బ్రౌజర్ లో జాయిన్
అదే నాకు
మరి మన యాప్ నుంచి జాయిన్ అయితేనే కదా నా ల్యాప్టాప్ ఇవ్వను
అక్కర్లేదు మేడం ఇది మళ్ళీ ఇవన్నీ రావు ఇవన్నీ కనెక్ట్ చేయలేము మీ ల్యాప్టాప్
इसका ऐप देखो ना सर एक बार कहाँ है
तेरे ये रहता
ऐप सर टच मारो
आएगा 3 बार नहीं हो रहा बोल के बोल रहा हूँ
నా మైక్రోసాఫ్ట్ టీమ్స్ అక్కడ
वेरीफाई अकाउंट
ఇక్కడ యాప్స్ కింద
इधे కదా
క్లాసిక్ వర్క్ ఆఫ్ కదా
वो पहले बंद करो सर वेरीफाई अकाउंट बंद करो
हाँ अभी हो रहा हूँ हाँ ये हो रहा अभी वेरीफाई करो
ఖచ్చితంగా కాదు నా దాంట్లో నుంచి వెళ్ళాలి నా దాంట్లో నుంచి వెళ్ళాలి
ఇట్లా ఇది వచ్చింది ఇక్కడ ఎలా చేయాలి? ఇప్పుడు మీది ఉంది జాయిన్ ఇది యాప్ లాగా పోవట్లేదు
అక్కడ అచ్యుతంగా వచ్చింది కదా నా దాంట్లో నేనే క్రియేట్ చేశాను దాంట్లో
టీమ్స్ మీద అక్కడ పోయినాక లింక్ కావాలి కదా మరి అక్కడ లింక్ పెట్టచ్చా
అది నాది టీమ్స్ ఓపెన్ చేస్తే అక్కడే లింక్ ఉంటుంది సార్ నా అకౌంట్ లో లింక్ ఉంటుంది నా అకౌంట్ ఓపెన్ చేయండి
ఏది ఎక్కడ మేడం
మైక్రోసాఫ్ట్ అది ఓపెన్ చేయండి క్లిక్ చేయండి దాంట్లో గో నౌ
న్యూ టీమ్సా
కదా క్లాసిక్ టీమ్స్
కిందనా
ఐ డోంట్ నో అయిపోదా ఓపెన్ అయితే నా అకౌంట్ ఓపెన్ చేస్తే అక్కడే లింక్ ఉంటుంది
మీది స్టార్ట్ చేయాలా
ఇది వేరే పేరు ఉంది కదా ఇట్ షుడ్ బి మై నేమ్ ఉమా జైందర్ ఉండాలి అప్పుడే వస్తుంది నాకు నా ఇది
మీది పెట్టండి మేడం
ఆఫ్లైన్ ఎవరు
सर ये भी पहले म्यूट कर लो पूरा आवाज आ रहा है
వెరీ గుడ్
ఇది ఏమో అవ్వట్లేదు ఇదేమో అవ్వట్లేదు మైక్రోసాఫ్ట్
సునీత
అంటే ఇక్కడ నా పేరు ఐ హావ్ క్రియేటెడ్ ద లింక్ ఆ ల్యాప్టాప్ నుంచి అయితే నాది ఎట్లా లాగిన్ అవుతుంది అదర్ వేస్ టు సైన్
సైన్ ఇన్
సైన్ అవుట్ చేయలేదు కదా సైన్ అవుట్ చేయండి ఇది మరి 1240 పేజ్
ఎన్నిసార్లు చూపించాము 136
కంటే మీరు 2 o'clock వస్తే యూజ్ అనదర్ అకౌంట్ మనం
UMA 13026 అది ఆపట్లేదు
130
భవన్స్ అదేముంది మన మైక్రోసాఫ్ట్ టీమ్స్. ఒక నిమిషం అయ్యి నా ల్యాప్టాప్
PC node, AC node, Microsoft node, PC node, AC node.
ఉమా
కాదు సార్ మీకు ఇందాక స్టార్ట్
అది
అయింది
బ్రౌజర్లో రావట్లేదు. బ్రౌజర్లో వస్తుంది, యాప్లో రావట్లేదు. యాప్లో రావట్లేదు.
బ్రౌజర్ నొక్కాను కాబట్టి
ఆ,
యాప్ నొక్కాల్సిందా చేయండి సార్. నేను మళ్ళీ మేడం ఆగండి.
నిధి నువ్వు ఆగవా పాస్వర్డ్
పాస్వర్డ్.
12:30 1 go సంచి
మేడం
ఎక్స్క్యూజ్ మీ
కొట్టండి.
సరే అందరూ బయట నుంచి కూడా అందరూ
క్యాలెండర్కి వెళ్ళండి, అక్కడ ఉంటుంది క్యాలెండర్. కింద 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 కింద
జస్ట్ అన్ని తీసుకో తీసుకో సైన్ ఇన్ అగైన్ సైన్ ఇన్ చెయ్యి సైన్ ఇన్
పాస్వర్డ్
శారీదాస్ ఎందుకు
तुम स्टार्ट रिकॉर्ड करना जरूर स्टार्ट कर देना अब रिकॉर्ड हो जा रहा पूरा यूट्यूब पर तो बढ़ रहा पूरा खाली बोलने से चेक करो ये पूरा इधर उधर घूम रहे हैं कहीं की काली भी अच्छा नहीं दिखता हाँ उसको म्यूट कर सकते ना हाँ ये स्क्रीन शेयरिंग से ये अपना अभी स्ट्रीमिंग है खाली स्क्रीन है
An investment in knowledge always pays the best interest, as quoted by Benjamin Franklin. A very good afternoon and a very warm welcome to all the distinguished dignitaries, guests, faculty members, online and offline, and my fellow students to the National Seminar on Financial Shenanigans hosted by Vivekananda College. Today we are gathered to emphasize on the intricacies of financial misconduct, a topic that resonates deeply with the world today. To mark this auspicious beginning, we would now request our distinguished dignitaries, P.R. Ramesh Sir, former Chairman of Deloitte, Professor V. Apparam Sir, the President IIA Hyderabad Branch, Professor D. Oval Reddy Sir, Chairman IIA Hyderabad Branch, Dr. GSPRK Chaudhary please Sir, Principal Bhavan Vivekananda College, come forward for the lighting of lamp accompanied by soulful prayer by the choir group.
आरोग्यं धनसम्पदा शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदा शत्रुबुद्धिर्विनाशाय दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते दीपज्योतिर्नमोऽस्तुते शुभं कुरुत्वं कल्याणम् आरोग्यं धनसम्पदा.
After the lighting.
Thank you, sir. Will now will now start the seminar with a Bhavan's prayer.
पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते हरिः ओम् ईशावास्यमिदं सर्वं यस्मिन् जगत्यां जगत् तेन कर्तेन पुंजिताः मा कृतः सत्य विद्दलम् यं ब्रह्मा वरुणेन्द्ररुद्रमरुतः सुमन्ति देवैस्तवैः वेदैः साङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैः गायन्ति यं सामगाः ज्ञानावस्थितैवतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनो यशान्तं न विदुःसुरासुरगणाः देवाय तस्मै नमः मूकं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुलं ते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम् या कुन्देन्दुतुषारहारधवला या शुभ्रावस्त्रावृता या वीणावरदण्डमण्डिताकरा या श्वेता पद्मासना या ब्रह्माच्युतशङ्करा प्रकटिते देवैः सदा वन्दिता सा मां पातु सरस्वती भगवती निःशेषचार्यापः नमोऽस्तुते या सविशालबुद्धे पुल्लारविन्दायतपत्रनेत्रः येन त्वया भारततैलपूर्णः प्रज्वालितो ज्ञानमयप्रदीपः व्यासाय विश्वरूपाय व्यासरूपाय विष्णवे नमो वै ब्रह्मनिधये वासिष्ठाय नमो नमः सहनावतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः.
We would now welcome our distinguished dignitaries with a potted plant. We request our students to present the potted plants. I request the dignitaries to come onto the dais.
I request Ramesh sir, Professor D. Gokul Reddy sir, Murthy sir, G. Naresh Reddy sir, Dr. G.S.V.R. K. Chaudhary sir, L.V. Kamala Devi madam, Professor Apanav sir are requested to join the dais. Thank you, sir. I request Krishna Kumar sir to join the audience in the front row. Most welcome, sir. Thanks for coming.
Bharat sir. Welcome, sir. I request Siddharth to present the potted plant to Professor D. Ogilreddy, sir. Welcome, sir. I request Monica to present the potted plant to Mr. B.R. Ramesh, sir, former chairman, Deloitte. Welcome, sir. I request Kiran Babu to present the potted plant to Professor G. Naresh Reddy, sir, Secretary IA Hyderabad branch. Welcome, sir. I request Ritika to present the potted plant to GSVRK Chaudhary, sir, Principal, Bhavans Vivekananda College. I request Vasanthi to present the potted plant to Mrs. L.D. Kamala Devi, Head Department of Commerce, Bhavans Vivekananda College. As we move forward, let us all extend a warm welcome to our honorable guests who will grace today's seminar with their knowledge and wisdom. Now we request our co-convener, Dr. T. Sanjeev sir, to formally welcome our dignitaries onto the stage.
Now I request Mr. L.D. Kamala Devi, Head Department of Commerce, to give the welcome address.
Good afternoon to the esteemed dignitaries on the dais. Our chief guest, Professor Bharat sir, our esteemed speaker, P.R. Ramesh sir, Chairman of IIA branch, Ogilreddy sir, Naresh Reddy sir, Secretary, and Secretary of IIA branch, our principal, GSVRK Chaudhary sir, Professor Acharapati sir, Professor Shekhar sir, Dr. Abdulrahman sir, Patrick sir, and all the other dignitaries, Kumar sir, Head Department of Management Studies, Dr. Chakravarti sir, and all the faculty members from Hemant's College, also the faculty members who have come outside the college, and our students who have shown interest in participating in the national seminar. A warm welcome for a wonderful day. At the outset, I would first like to thank Professor Bharat sir and Naresh sir and our principal for giving us such a wonderful opportunity to be a part of All India Conference, which is being organized in Calcutta. Thank you so much, sir, for giving us this opportunity. I welcome all the students who are there, who have shown eager and zeal to actually understand the latest concepts which are going on in financial aspects and accounting. Financial shenanigans, as is known to us, is the evolving topic which we have nowadays, keeping in view the smartness of AI, which is increasing day by day, and the smartness of the changes which are taking place in accounting, taxation, and finance. So I feel this particular opportunity which has been given to us, we need to use this to the maximum to understand in what way these changes in accounts, the frauds are actually affecting companies, affecting all the stakeholders who are related to it. I should thank our speaker, Professor P.R. Ramesh sir, who actually has taken out his time to give 1 hour session to us. Sir, your 1 hour is very valuable for us, sir. So I welcome both the professors, Professor Rajapal sir. Rajapal sir, I hope you are able to listen to us from IIM Kozhikode online and Ramesh sir, the distinguished speakers of the day. I now request Aditi to take over the session. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am. Following the heartfelt welcome, it's time to formally inaugurate the national seminar. We are honored to have a guiding force of the institution, Dr. G.S.C.R.K. Chaudhary, sir, Principal of Bhavan Vivekananda College. Sir, we request you to formally inaugurate the seminar and enlighten us with your thoughts.
My namaskar to all the dignitaries on the dais and also the dignitaries of the dais, head of the department, Commerce, Head Department of Management Studies, faculty members and senior students. Today I feel privileged to stand here on this occasion, and I clearly remember a few months back, Professor Newman called to me and he said he intended to conduct a national seminar in our college. Sir, your belief and your confidence on us, we are very grateful that you have considered our college assistance and accepted our invitation, and all the dignitaries have taken time and came here to this national seminar. We are grateful to each one of you who have made it to this day. And it's my privilege to inaugurate the national seminar on financial shenanigans. Keeping in view what is happening around us in the recent days, how things are going to affect to the level where we have allegations against one of the premier institute to regulate all financial things, and the chief of the body is having allegations. And also we see how the markets reciprocate when events like the results of the elections are announced. It's very important to know what kind of things are going around us, whether it is good or not good. So keeping in view that the department has chosen this topic and members of the entire department for choosing the topic and also initiating this national seminar on financial sectors. So with my privilege, I declare the national seminar. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir, for enlightening us. We may now request Professor D. Oman Reddy, sir, Chairman of Indian Accounting Association, Hyderabad branch, to share his valuable words.
Good afternoon to everybody. The Ramesh sir, Mr. Apparao, Mr. Naresh, Kamla Devi, Principal Navid sir, Mr. Achalapati, Mr. Muhammad, Sekhar, Ravinder, Matrix, and Venkatesh, and distinguished faculty members, dear students. My purpose is only to introduce the Indian Accounting Association, because I don't want to go into the topic because there is expert well on that. When compared to Western India and Northern India, accounting is not that popular
Video is not coming in
South India. But of course, nowadays BCom has become very popular. The last 1 decade onwards, but in terms of profession, the factory for producing the chartered accountants is Jodhpur, Jaipur. When compared to that, of course, South India is lagging behind. So we have started the Indian Accounting Association in 2003 to propagate the accounting appetite among the Usmanians. And then we started, when compared to all other branches of Accounting Association, one peculiarity of Hyderabad branch of Accounting Association is we take up the accounting conference themes and give inputs to the paper writers and the students to give ideas in collaboration with different colleges. Thus, from the last almost 20 years, we are doing service to the student fraternity. Now today's topic, the financial shenanigans, is a peculiar topic in the sense our ancestors have already said, Dhanamola Midam Jagat. Everything revolves around Dhanam, finances. And of course, we commerce and management students we are revolving around the finances only. And those who possess the wealth, Dhanam, they want to increase it. Those who do not have it, they want to acquire it. Those who have already having, they want to retain, enhance, further it. In the process, some of the people they want to do some jugglery. Thus, in Telugu, we have 3 types of titles: Ganaka Shastramu, Ganita Shastramu, Gananka Shastram. Only small differences what this side and that side will change the meaning. So Ganakamu is statistics, Ganitamu is mathematics, Ganakamu is accounting. The Shenanigans are doing in this Ganakamu only. So how you make juggleries and gimmicks? So in statistics we say figures don't lie, but liars can figure. But they don't want to lie through figures. They want to do the gimmicks. So some of these gimmicks may be within the ambit of the law. Those who are not in the ambit of law, we call them as scams. So I don't know whether the Shenanigans will come under the ambit of the law or outside the ambit of law. But this is jugglery of covering, camouflaging the accounting treatments. That is the topic of the day. And I am also waiting to listen to the experts. Thank you for the Bhavans College for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable words.
Next, we have the pleasure of hearing from Professor G. Naresh Reddy, sir, Secretary of the Indian Accounting Association, Hyderabad. We look forward to your words of wisdom, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. Respected dignitaries of the day, especially Chaudhary sir, principal of the college, Kamala Devi madam, Sanjay sir for accepting our invitation to organize this particular seminar here. Now, Professor V. Apara, President, Indian Accounting Association, Professor D. Felicitation, sir, PR Ramesh sir, and my dear friends and teachers in the department, especially Professor Aisheka, Professor Solomon, Professor Patrick, Professor Achalapati, Professor T. Kumar, and professors from this college, Dr. Venkatesh, and other members and students. Now, as a General Secretary of Hyderabad branch,
now we have different branches in the country. IA Hyderabad branch is also one among. Now this branch started in the year 2005. Now we have organized, 2003, we have organized 2 Indian accounting conferences in the year 2005 and 2021. So our conference secretaries and presidents are witnessing here. Professor now the recently Hyderabad branch life members gone up more than 350. Now because of the various programs which we are organizing, and the branch is very much vibrant, not only in Hyderabad and at national level also, because of the contribution of the senior professors from the inception of this particular branch. Now relating to this particular branch, I am very recently taken over charge as the General Secretary. So far we have organized 2 national seminars. One is on GST, another is related to climate finance, and this is the 3rd one. So we have 3 technical sessions at Calcutta, so which is going to held in the month of November 2024. Now these are the seminars for the purpose of preparing the paper writers, especially research college students and teachers. We have to educate the paper writers on different topics and some things related to the seminar which is going to held at Calcutta. Now, this is the small information relating to this branch and the activity which is going to commence in the month of November. Now, regarding the topic, I'm not going into detail. So, thank you, sir, Ramesh sir. We already organized in the year 2017 one international conference on fraudulent financial practices, now issues and challenges. In that seminar, now you gave the chief guest address. Even till today I remember. Now, not only that, I applied on the same topic I got the UGC major research project on the fraudulent financial practices. Now, not only that, so in the light of that UGC major research project, we organized the seminar in coinciding with the retirement of Professor K.B. Achalpathy. Now, anyhow, sir, I am not going into detail. We are experiencing so many number of corporates are into different types of frauds. Not only that, we are also witnessing the regulators are also into scams. Now, especially, which we have experienced very recently, co-location issue. Now, Chitra Ramakrishnan and Ravi Narayan, so they involved in the co-location issue. Actually, they are the regulators, but regulators are also involved in these scams. Now, this is 500 billion rupees scam, which has happened within a period of 5 years. Not only that, very recently, we also read in the newspaper, Madhavi Puri Bach, but it is not yet proved, but it is going on. Chairperson SEBI. Now see, these are only small examples, I am not going to detail. Sir, how can we regulate if regulators are doing like this? So, conscience I request the research persons to please address this. Thank you very much.
Sir, now request our guest of honor, Mr. P.R. Ramesh sir, former chairman of Deloitte, to address the seminar.
Professor, can you hear me? Yes. Yeah. Excellent. Professor Chowdhury, very other distinguished members of the dais, including Professor Kamladevi, I'm not naming each one. Very noted professors here. I also have looked up to. Professor Achalapathy is here, Krishna Kumar, all of them whom I have interacted for a number of years. Patrick. Distinguished faculty from outside Bhavans and in Bhavans, students, thank you, welcome to this program. But I must clarify at the outset, you're listening to a person who's not a professor. I'm the odd man out here, so I don't have a PhD, nor am I a professor. But I'm associated with the Accounting Association too. And it so happens that in programs they also call me professor sometimes, maybe by mistake. But I'm delighted to be here. I should use this one. Okay, I'll use both. I'm delighted to be here to be part of this program on financial shenanigans. I will speak to you hopefully for an hour and take you through a presentation which I have. But I must compliment IAA and Bhavans for organizing such an event, because financial shenanigans, when I started my BCom, or commenced my BCom, little did I realize that accounting can cause havoc. I only thought accounting records transactions. And we were all taught debit the receiver, credit the receiver, all those rules which you all are very familiar with. But only after it got really into the practice, then you realize how powerful this accounting can be. It can create scenarios which do not exist. It can portray in any manner as you like, and that is why this term shenanigans are there. Shenanigans fundamentally is a term for fraud. So somebody was, I was asked a little when I was seated here. Power is gone, but I was asked, is there a difference between window dressing and shenanigans? Window dressing can be legal. I can portray in a certain manner to look good. But if I do it through false entries, that is a financial shenanigan. So I will take you through some real life examples. I'll take you through examples of fraud. I'll talk to you about how one can prevent or detect frauds and what sort of things we can look forward to in the year ahead. Not in the year ahead, in the times ahead. But suffice to say, welcome to this program, and I will be with you a little later after this inaugural. Thank you very much.
This one, right?
Thank you, sir, for those thought-provoking words. It's now time for the address of an eminent figure whose leadership continues to inspire. We are honored to invite Professor B. Apparao, President of the Indian Accounting Association, Hyderabad branch, to share his thoughts and enlighten us on this occasion.
Some other faculties outside.
Good afternoon, everyone. Am I audible? No mic.
This ends is here. Who is
The
operating
dignitaries on the dais. Professor D. Gopal Reddy, Chairman, Indian Accounting Association, Hyderabad branch. Professor GSVRK Chaudhary Garu, Principal of this college, and senior most resource person and former employee and chairman of Deloitte, Sri P.R. Ramesh Garu. Then Professor G. Naresh Reddy, General Secretary, Indian Accounting Association, Hyderabad branch, and Mrs. L.V. Kamala Devi, Head Department of Commerce, Bhavan's College, and my colleagues from the Department of Commerce, and particularly retired teachers, Professor K.V. Achalapati, Professor T. Krishna Kumar, and all the teachers sitting on the left side, and faculty members from Bhavan's Degree and PG College, all the students, ladies and gentlemen, once again, good afternoon. At the outset, I congratulate Department of Commerce, Bhavan's Vivekananda College of Science, Humanities and Commerce, which is an autonomous college affiliated to Usman University, organizing a one-day national seminar on financial shenanigans in collaboration with the Indian Accounting Association, Hyderabad branch. So, this is an important topic because financial shenanigans looks like a new topic. Just now, here Ramesh sir shared that earlier we had window dressing and there are some differences between the financial shenanigans and window dressing. And it is a great opportunity to listen from resource person. So he is highly knowledgeable, and just now he said that no, I am not a professor, but you are more than professor, sir. So if any program is organized by the Department of Commerce, you never said no. So always you used to visit the Department of Commerce. There were so many lectures over faculty members and also students of Department of Commerce. In fact, when we organized 43rd Annual Accounting Conference in 2021, myself and Professor Krishna Kumar visited his home, and we spent a lot of time and we agreed to deliver a keynote speech in inaugural. Address was excellent and well received by participants who came from different parts of the country. So thank you, sir. Thank you. So he is a gentleman. It's not exaggeration. Your underlying gentleman, Krishna Kumar knows and I know. So he never expect anything from the institution. So such a great personality, he is interested to share his knowledge to the students and also faculty members. So I am happy to associate with this program. On the occasion of this seminar, as a president of Indian Accounting Association, I would like to share some information about the Indian Accounting Association and also its activities, because there are certain online participants also attending this program. because Bhavan's College is one of the oldest colleges in Hyderabad, one of the best colleges. Almost it is 50 years, 50 years old, 30 years old. But Indian Accounting Association is 54 years old. Because for the information of the members and also students here and online participants, Indian Accounting Association was established in 1970 by the academicians, practitioners, and some industry experts also members of the Indian Accounting Association. So it was started with the less number of branches. Now we have 61 branches from all over the India with 8,700 members. 8,700 consists of academicians and practitioners like CA, CMAs and CS also members of Indian Accounting Association. So like that the number is year by year increasing. So the main purpose of Indian Accounting Association is to promote and disseminate accounting knowledge in India and abroad. So we have certain activities. So that I will share. We have now 5 activities under Indian Accounting Association. Number 1 is organizing annual conference. Organizing annual conference. Every year we are organizing annual conference in some university in collaboration with some department and university. So almost 1,000 delegates, around 1,000 delegates are attending from different parts of the country. Normally, the conference will be held on the latest issues of accounting, finance, and the taxation. So, generally, it is a 2 days conference, and in 2021 and 2005. So, in 2005, we have conducted Acharpati sir was the conference secretary, and after 15 years, again, in 2021, we have conducted in Hyderabad. So, actually, we should be grateful to our predecessors, particularly Mr. Ogul Reddy and Acharpati and the other members of the Department of Commerce in bringing the Indian Accounting Association like this. Because initially we had only 50, 70, 75, 100 members. So now it is 350. 350. It is one of the biggest branches in India. It is because of their efforts and also the latest teachers who are working in the department. Because of their efforts only, now we are able to improve the number and also focusing on academic activities. Now this time the conference will be conducted in Kolkata on 23rd, 24th November, and this time the conference will be held on 3 main themes and 2 international seminars. The first theme is financial shenanigans. That is now one of the topics we are discussing here. Then second, sustainable finance and investment issues and prospects. Third, GST unified taxation, accounting challenges. These are the main topics. Plus we have 2 common international seminars. One is accounting education and second is accounting research. So on these topics, now the members and participants going to discuss and they are going to write papers and share their knowledge with the participants. It is a kind of exchange of knowledge because mainly the purpose of the seminars is to exchange the knowledge and share the knowledge. So like that, we have different activities. And second is this is one major activity that is organized by the Indian Accounting Association. Second is publication of biannual journal. On behalf of Indian Accounting Association, we are also bringing out a biannual journal, that is Indian Journal of Accounting. So, half-yearly journal we are publishing. So, if any academicians, teachers, or research scholars are interested, they can write paper and contribute. And it is not peer-reviewed journal. And third activity is Young Researcher Award. Young Researcher Award. Actually, to encourage the young researchers who are not more than 35 years, if they publish 5 papers in the last 5 years, and they will be awarded a Young Researcher Award based on some criteria. Now we will also give notification for that, and there are 2 conditions. One is the 35 or less than 35. Second is the participants should be members of Indian Accounting Association. And publications will be sent to the evaluator and they will evaluate. Actually, this time last date is over, August 31st was the last date. And we have received around 15 proposals and they are under evaluation process. So next time, if you are interested, you can apply. So in this regard, please visit the Indian Accounting Association website. Then third activity is National Accounting Talent Research Test. So this is meant for students. So 10 plus to those who are complete intermediate and those who are doing degree and having less than 25 years of age. So they can participate in the National Accounting Talent Research Examination. We conduct at 2 levels. One is junior level, second senior level. So for junior level, 10 plus 2 are those who are doing degree, BCom, BSc are eligible, and there will be prizes. First prize 21,000, second prize somewhat less, like that. Those who are participated, they will be given cash prize of 21,000 for juniors, 25,000 for seniors, 25,000 for seniors. And actually, information is there. I will show you for juniors in first prize, best performer will get 21,000 plus memento and a certificate. Explorer. Second prize 11,000 memento plus certificate. Third prize 8,000 and fourth prize 2,000. Like just there are certain awards. Now for senior level, 25,000 and the joint. First prize, second 14,000, third 9,000, sharing of 3,000. And will be generally and this test will be conducted in the month of February every year. The last date for applying is 25th January 2025. Already we have still notification. Students, those who are doing degree, they are eligible to apply, and those who are having less than 25, they can also apply for senior. So like that, they can participate, and just earlier we have conducted on physical mode. Now we are conducting on online mode. We can write from your respective places. So this is important for encourage students. This is the third activity, fourth activity. And fifth, we have branch activities like this. Almost the majority of branches throughout India conducting local seminars on latest topics. So like this, we are involved in mainly accounting, finance, and taxation activity. And mainly the purpose of this seminar, already shared by Professor Naresh Reddy, the local seminars mainly to enlighten about the topic and also to motivate the teachers areas to the topic, and as per the timetable given by Indian Accounting Association in Calcutta, the teachers or the scholars can write the papers and submit and attend, because it is on 24th and 23rd, 24th November. Last date also will find. Please visit. And the teachers, particularly commerce teachers, practitioners, they can also take membership by paying 4,000 rupees. 4,000 rupees, and life membership is 4,000. It will be invited for the conference. There are certain advantages. It will be elevated. This is about the Indian Accounting Association. So with this, I just conclude because I have one suggestion to the college, because it is autonomous college, sir. Because we are in commerce department. We have been offering BCom, BBA, or MCom, MBA, like that. Because you can offer some job-oriented and practical-oriented courses in collaboration with the practical institutions. Because you have liberty and autonomy. In the university system, we are offering conventional courses. Because nowadays, industry expecting the candidates with multi-skills. So that's why, whatever skills are expected by the industry, accordingly, you need to develop the courses. So for that, you need to visit the UGC website and also visit the foreign universities website, what are the courses about, what are the job opportunities. Because now almost majority of courses are integrated with the technology. That's why technology has become the order of the day and it is inevitable. So that's why keeping in view the demand for the jobs and there is a need for refining and redesigning our existing courses. You can also identify new courses. So like that, you just explore the possibility of offering new courses. So with this, the present seminar definitely will be useful for the teachers and research scholars. So thank you very much. Thank you.
This is yours.
Thank you, sir, for the thought-provoking words. We now request the dignitaries on the dais to please be seated in the audience to start the session of our seminar.
Exit started, sir.
We are now thrilled to begin the first technical session of the day. I would again like to invite an exceptional resource person who is also the guest of honor and who has left a remarkable mark in the world of accounting and auditing to please join us. Mr. P.R. Ramesh, sir, former chairman of Deloitte, to enlighten us with his valuable insights. Sir, we are truly honored and privileged to have you with us today for the National Seminar.
Oh, my God. Abhi sir.
Did you copy PPT?
PPT, sir.
This is USB side, this is USB-C, whichever side. Okay. Put it in. Copy it into your system.
P.R. Ramesh, sir, was the former chairman of Deloitte India.
Here we get
Close. He is a fellow member of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. He has also been associated with various regulatory bodies, industry bodies in the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. Sir was a member of SEBI High-Powered Advisory Committee to deal with settlements of enforcement action. He was also a member of Insolvency and Bankruptcy Board of India Advisory Committee on Service Providers. Sir was a former member of SEBI Committee on Disclosures and Accounting Standards. He was also a member of the Committee for Reforming the Regulatory Environment of Doing Business in India, set up by the Government of India. Sir was a member of working group set up by the Reserve Bank of India for implementation of Ind AS by banks in India. Sir was a special invitee to National Advisory Committee on Accounting Standards. He was a former invitee to the committee set up by the Reserve Bank of India to assist in the convergence to IFRS by banks. Sir was also a former member of the Technical Committee to review the form and presentation of the balance sheet of the Reserve Bank. He was also a former member of the Insurance Regulatory Authority and Insurance Regulatory and Development Authority Standing Committee on Accounting Issues. Sir was a member of the working group on harmonizing IRDA corporate governance guidelines and disclosure with the New Companies Act 2013. In the Confederation of the Indian Industries, he is a member of Committee of Regulatory and governance. Sir was also the past president of the Bombay Chamber of Commerce in India. Ramesh sir is a director on the board of some listed and unlisted companies, entities such as Air India Express, Cipla, Crompton Greaves Consumer Electricals, Larsen & Toubro, SCI India, NSC Investments, etc. Sir was also awarded the Best Independent Director MBA for 2022-2023 by Inauguration State Department of Government and Sustainability. Sir, we request you to begin the session.
Sir, yes, sir. Say the skit. Okay. Co-host. Okay, sir. Okay, fine. Fine, sir. Fine. Co-host.
Sir. Yes, what? So good afternoon once again. Just waiting for the presentation. It becomes easier for you. Yeah, go to presentation mode, please. Okay, fine. Thank you. So, as we already discussed, this topic is a very interesting topic. Each one of us, I think if we cross our hearts, we will admit that we have been exposed to some fraud or the other in our lives. And it's not ended. The way the world is going around, I think there you'll see many more, and I'll take you through where we are in all this. I know I'm conscious of the fact that we are nearly 45 minutes behind schedule, and I'll try and make up some bit of the time. This is for online. Perfect. I must also welcome Dr. Rajappa. You will hear him later after my session. He's from IIM Kozhikode. I wish I was able to listen to him all the time, but I'm pleased through this program I'm able to get that opportunity. Just to give you how complex businesses are, this was a picture which is 25 years ago. You would have heard of Enron. At that time, if you looked at the type of transactions, how interconnected the transactions are. This is just a snapshot. All the message I want to drive home today is businesses are exceedingly complex, exceedingly interconnected, not only nationally but globally. The volume of transactions run into billions in terms of number alone. Forget the dollar amount or the rupee amount. And in all this, we as accountants are deeply involved in preparation of financial statements, in executing transactions, in preventing, detecting fraud, investigating frauds, reporting, being accountable, a whole host of things. So all of you who have taken up this BCom or the commerce stream or the accounting stream, consider yourself fortunate because you will always be relevant. So long as money is there, so long as businesses are there and they are so complex, you will need. But it's a completely different subject as to what your future will be. But that apart, the main point you have to realize is financial shenanigans are not just in India. They are all across the world. And I'll show you some places where they are. If you will see here, you will just go back to each of this. United States, Canada, you have Wirecard in Germany, you have Gupta Brothers in South Africa, Punjab in India, we have the Nirav Modi scam, Satyam, Amalat in Italy, ILFS, Japan, a whole host of things are there. And then you would have known these, I'm taking you to some of the global ones. It all started, big ones started in 2000 around the time. But here are some pictures you will be familiar with. Enron, Global Crossing, Adelphia, WorldCom, Bernie Madoff, $65 billion. $1 billion is equal to 8,000 crores. Can you imagine $65 billion is equal to how much? 2,80,000 crores. In a way, that is the volume of fraud with one gentleman, Bernie Madoff did in United States. So that's a Ponzi scheme. I'll touch upon that. Now, just to indicate to you, these are huge corporate frauds. This is just the tip of the iceberg. So what you see is much more. And if there was, you know, this movie Schindler's List, if there was a list called the Schindler's List, this would be such a list. It is just again a snapshot. This is not the whole list. Even as early as 1985, you had frauds. You would have heard of the BCCI fraud, which is again a global one. 1995 to 2005, a lot of frauds happened. After Enron, the systems were brought in, regulators were activated, new regulator for PCAOB was created in the United States, Sarbanes-Oxley law came in, and that spread across the world. And as a result, there has been some mitigation when the financial crisis happened, then to a number of entities collapsed, some because of shady accounting and some not so because of shady accounting. But this goes on even as recent as 2020, 22, 24. We've had some very big global frauds. So what are the concerns? The first concern is it's not small companies which are collapsing. It is the world's largest companies which are collapsing. Now they are supposed to have the best system. They are supposed to have the best accountants. They are supposed to have the best board of directors, experts everywhere. It is huge. Imagine if one of the world's largest companies were to collapse. Wouldn't you be shocked? You'd say, how can this company collapse? But this is collapsing not just because of a business failure, but also because of accounting failure. And that is the worry. And then the second one is unethical behavior. Part of shenanigans is the term. And as a result of it, everybody's savings disappeared overnight. You put your money in that company. Your children were employed in the company. Your retirement plans were in that company. All of it overnight disappeared. It impacted lives, it impacted families. And then it raises the same issue which we had just now in the inaugural session, a question about is the regulator competent? Is the regulator too involved in some cases? Or has the regulator been sleeping in the wheel? And then auditors are the watchdogs. They have been missing glaring signs. So then what should we do? If you're all so vulnerable, if frauds are going to happen of this size, whom do we believe? What do we believe? What could be the types of frauds? What could be the signals of frauds? And you look at any newspaper, any day, you'll have some headlines like this. 42 Indians experienced financial fraud in the last 3 years. India saw 229 banking frauds per day in financial year 21. Look at the numbers. Fraud cases in banking sector rises in the first half of FY financial year 24. RBI report. These are just headlines I have picked up from the newspapers, and I'm showing this. Payment frauds rise by 70.64%. To 2,604 crores in October to March. Every day you receive a fraud call. Press this link, do this, do that. That's a financial fraud. That's also financial shenanigans, but at a retail level. But when it happens at a corporate level, the amounts are very, very big. So if you look at what is the definition of fraud, it's very wide. So I won't spend too much time on this as much as what could be the types of fraud. There is what we call management performed at a very high level. Then you have cyber crimes. You're familiar with. I want to elaborate. You have financial statement fraud, which is the entire financial statements which are fraudulent. What you think is genuine is not. You rely on that for investment decisions. Companies rely on that for giving dividends. Shareholders rely on it for making, hoping that the share prices will go up on that basis. Then you have asset misappropriation, which is misappropriation, cash, inventories, whole host of things. Diversion, theft of funds, money laundering, benami transactions, employee fraud. I can go on, supply chain, whole host of things. But look at this data. Globally, organizations lose 5% of their top line to fraud. Imagine if you're 1 lakh crores, you're losing 5,000 crores every year. That is the volume of fraud. This is the most recent survey by the Association Fraud Examples. 2024 data I'm giving you. 5% of the top line is being
is the financial loss of financial shenanigans, you may say. And the average loss is $145,000. And the average loss per case, the median is $145,000. Average loss is $1.7 million. And 43% of the frauds were detected only by tips. That means those who are preparing financial statements, those who are looking at it, reading it, interacting with the company, within the company, they didn't know there was a fraud. Somebody gave an anonymous tip saying this is fraudulent. 43% of the frauds were detected only by tips. Not by auditors, not by internal auditors, not by investigators, etc. And most common method of tips, we receive that in many of the corporates where I am. Whistleblowers, we call them. Anonymous tips will come, anonymous letters come. That's the most common method. And look at the last one. A typical fraud lasts 12 months before detection. That means it's already happening. So as we speak today, if there is something undetected, it's already happening there. Now we have had quite some legislation to deal with it. We have the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. We have SEBI set up a forensic accounting. Companies Act 2013 has a lot of provisions. Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code came and dealt with all the corporates which went bust due to frauds also. And of course, we have auditors' reports have been tightened in a big way. There are a lot of measures which have been implemented by RBI, whether it's on fraud detection and reporting, about strengthening prompt and corrective action is a big thing which RBI introduced. Then there are a lot of cyber security measures which RBI has introduced to curb fraud. But now let's look at what I would call the DNA of fraud. I will use this term shenanigans and fraud interchangeably, so pardon me, because shenanigans, if you go to Oxford Dictionary and look at it, it is deceit. It's fundamental to shenanigans. So fraud and deceit are in a way synonymous. So what types of frauds? There is asset misappropriation, as I already told you. You can misappropriate cash. You can have non-cash items being preserved. If I take this is a non-cash item, but it can be converted to cash. So a lot of asset misappropriation is happening all the time. And we account for assets. We think the assets are there. They're actually non-existent. Inventories, they're given to bank, shown to banks saying we have so much stocks on the basis of which bank gives loan. Actually, there is no stock. So that is also misappropriated. Then we have fraudulent financial statements. Financial and non-financial are defrauded. Financial items could be cash, could be deposits, could be bank balances. Non-financial items could be intangible assets, could be fixed assets. You don't write down fixed assets, you don't impair fixed assets. Intangible assets like goodwill, etc. So much of, I can talk to you the whole day as to how to fudge finances. So that's not what you are here for, to learn how to fudge finances, but more importantly, to understand that look, there is this complex world, we need to deal with it. And then you have corruption. India in the Transparency International Index is ranked very poorly, it continues to be ranked poorly. So that's yet another challenge which we have. So let's ask why do people commit? Okay, financial shenanigans, good to hear, all that. Why do people? One first reason is when there is pressure. No, I am a company, very prominent company. Suddenly my business is not doing well. The share price will come down. People will start leaving. And shareholders saying the share value has come down. We can't give increases to our people. So what happens? There is pressure, enormous pressure to show good results. So then what is the easiest way? To start with accounting manipulation. So that through accounting manipulations you show a good picture when the reality is completely different. It's not just like applying makeup on yourself. That's not the way it is. This is far more deeper. And it involves, it arises because of pressure to sustain growth. Because what happens is, people will say, oh, this is not a growing company. This is a loss-making company. What's the point? I want to join a profit-making. Will you leave it like that or pick it up? If there is a camera watching, of course, you will pick it up and go to the nearest policeman and give it to him, saying, I found this money. But what if the camera is not working? You don't even need to do that.
You look at the type of people who drive. If there is no policeman, and even the light is red, they go through. No camera, they go through. So they leave the college here without helmets because anyway nobody is catching. So the behavior changes where there is an opportunity. The behavior changes where the controls are weak, oversight is weak. And the third reason is an interesting reason, is rationalization or justification. Now somebody, and we see this in Hindi movies also, mother is ailing, medical expense, doctor says, writes a prescription, go bring this medicine, you have no money. So you find, how can I steal money? I'll make it up later on, but right now, there is a valid reason for me to put my hand into the till. The other way people rationalize is, anyway I'm being paid poorly, so I might as well take some money from the company's till. The third reason how they rationalize is, everybody is stealing, so I will also steal. Everybody is taking stapler home. For their children, they need a notebook. They will say, oh boy, my printer has got a lot of paper in the office, I will take some more. Rationalize it. After all, it's for a good cause. No, my son has to study. But that's official expense, not personal expense. So these lines get blurred sometimes when people try to rationalize or justify. So this is why we call, and of course there's a fourth one. By nature, some people are fraudulent. So they can't, so that I have not listed here, that's why I put it as a fraud triangle. We call them kleptomaniacs in some cases, and that is the term which is used. Just to go back 15 years ago, and you looked at, it has not changed. Financial statement fraud was the largest, asset misappropriation was much lesser, corruption was, compared to financial statement fraud, corruption was much, much lesser. So this is just some data for you. Okay. Now let's take some live, or rather actual case studies. I'll take you across the world, I'll take a few. I know, if unlimited time, then I can take you through all the case studies. So the first one, which is the most important, which started most spoken about is Enron. Enron, as you know, was one of the largest energy companies in the world. And what happened was, it became so large, so much into debt, and it was not making profits, but because of its size, because of the way Enron was perceived, they didn't want to show a poor picture. They had to hide the debts. They had to hide the losses from various entities. So they created a very complex web of transactions to show, and particularly, as you know, those of you with hardcore accountants will know, consolidated financial statements. You consolidate an entity which is either your subsidiary or an associate. So they would structure it in a manner that it is neither a subsidiary nor an associate. So it is not figuring in the consolidated financial statements. So the debt is off the books, the losses are off the books. This was going on for quite some time. I still remember 1998, the chairman of the US Securities Exchange Commission, equivalent to our SEBI chairperson, or much, much superior, of course, he said all financial statements or most financial statements in the United States are cooked up. Some gently cooked, some completely roasted. And he predicted almost that a fraud like Enron would happen. So, what was the real motive? Maintain the high stock price. Yet everybody gets bonus there. This particular fraud was, the auditors were Arthur Andersen, one of the world's largest and perhaps the best accounting firm. Arthur Andersen and the firm imploded across the world. Enron, everybody was jailed. Chairman downwards was jailed. The next one was WorldCom. Next one was WorldCom. This one? Okay. The next one was WorldCom. Here again, $11 billion. You're talking of 2002, $11 billion. You can imagine the size of it. Here again, there was one lady called Cynthia Cooper, who was the internal auditor. She said, expenses are being capitalized. These are actually expenses. The age-old trick, capital versus revenue. I mean, these allegations are there even in ILFS when I come to ILFS and this is what we call gold plating. You have a capital asset, an expenditure which should be charged to P&L account, you add to the cost of the asset. It gets hidden in the cost of the asset. That's gold plating. Silver plating, gold plating, all those platings happen. So profits look good. But fundamentally, you remember, cash does not lie. This is part of financial shenanigans. One of the things which they did big time was capitalizing expenses. Their CEO, Bernie Ebbers, he was also jailed, all of it. They tried, then of course the investigations happened. The auditors were also punished. This again was a big one. And then we have Italy, let me go on to. There are so many US itself at that time. Tycho was there, then Adelphia, so many things were there. Parmalat, it is called the Enron of Italy. Here again, Parmalat was a leading producer of milk and dairy products in Italy. And again, operations across the world. There again, 14 billion euros. It's, you can say $14 billion also. So 2003, it went bust finally. It was, as I said, cash does not lie. You can manage accounting, you can keep debt off the books, you can close the picture, but you still have to pay the loan up. And they defaulted on the bond payment. That's when everybody started asking, how come this is making profits? Why is it defaulting? Where is the cash? That means it is in some asset, right? If cash is not there in cash form, it should be in some asset form. If it is not in some asset form, that means the asset values are bogus. Therefore, it should have been charged to the profit loss account. And that's when you discover that your balance sheet is not a balance sheet, but it has a huge hole, a crater maybe. And this is a third example which I wanted to give you. Closer home, you have Satyam Computer Services, and I had the distinction, you may say, of investigating Satyam in 2009. I was called in within just one day after Ramlinga Raju confessed to the crime. And this is about close to $1 billion, then $1 billion, 6,000 plus 1,400 crores. Here, he confessed, saying receivables are overstated, fixed deposits of 5,000 crores non-existent. He said, and in fact some liabilities off the books, and therefore if you adjust for all of it, the profit is actually becomes a loss. When the restated accounts were made, we had to charge off around 6,500 crores, and therefore what was profit became a loss. Everything was fudged here. Sales were fudged, interest income was fudged, bank statements were fudged, fixed deposit receipts were false, all computer generated receipts. You genuinely thought the fixed deposit was. You thought that much balance was there in the bank. But you went to the bank, bank says there's no such balance. This fixed deposit is a bogus fixed deposit receipt. And today, in the way IT systems are, you can fake, you can create anything. And not only were there documents created in 2008, I'm talking of 16 years ago, with the technology then progressed, and then the accounting, and to hide it from everybody, including the auditor, extremely complex. That's a separate case study by itself. And this would not have been uncovered but for him to confess. He self-confessed that I have defrauded. And then let's go on to Japan. I'll give you a list just for you to get a picture everywhere. 2011, 1.7 billion fraudulent accounting practices, huge issues here. In the law, they acquired a lot of businesses. And when you acquire businesses and the businesses don't function, you have to write down that investment. They did not write down those investments. So again, you're carrying fictitious assets, a false value of assets in the balance sheet. Olympus Corporation. You know Olympus was great for all those cameras and other things, right? This is, you just name a company in the world, a big name, it has been through this. Okay, Sony has also been through, Toshiba has been through, I can give you a lot of names. But I've just been very selective. Wirecard, Germany. Again, huge, 1.9 billion euros. This is a fintech company, whole host of things. Here again, non-existent bank balances. Auditors were also receiving confirmations from banks which was fraudulent. Now everybody, they were pointing out saying there is a fraud, there is a fraud. Yet when certain procedures were done, it didn't surface. It surfaced much later. But they created fictitious subsidiaries, fictitious bank accounts, false entries passed in those bank accounts. Imagine if your bank account is fictitious. You'll be shocked, right? That you genuinely believe, I suppose, when you go home and check your bank balance, I hope that is genuine. Okay, if the banker does a fraud, then of course even that becomes fictitious. Middle East, NMC Health, Dr. B.R. Shetty, I have met him also in Dubai. He used to be, was touted as the most prominent Indian, etc. in Dubai. He operated hospitals, clinics, pharmacies, etc. Again, 4.5 billion. Businesses don't do well. You siphon off money, you will have to repay the loans. You have taken loans to build those businesses. So the moment you siphon off funds, somebody has to be repaid, right? And B.R. Shetty, and here it was revealed by a short seller, just like Hindenburg. There was another short seller called Muddy Waters, who said, look, I think these financial statements are fraudulent. Now, B.R. Shetty obviously will deny. And then when investigations happened, everything surfaced. This was another case as recent as 2020 NMC Health case. I spoke to your Madoff. Bernie Madoff, $65 billion Ponzi scheme. What is a Ponzi scheme? Is something which we are always worried about when dealing with chit funds. What he would do, collect more and more money. From monies he would collect, he would give returns to those who had paid earlier. So the constantly circling the money, and that would have been all right if that wheel didn't stop. The moment it stopped, because those returns were not there. If you gave 100 rupees deposit, he used your 100 rupees to pay interest on somebody else's 100 rupees deposit. He didn't earn interest. So it was the Ponzi scheme, and perhaps the world's largest Ponzi scheme. We have had the Sarda scam in India. We had the Sancheta scam in India. We had a lot of chit fund scams in India. A lot of it is teaming and lading. It is Ponzi scheme. Ponzi was the earliest in that business. Madoff is no more. Here his sons took him to jail. They pointed out saying, our father is doing this. Now you can imagine one thing. $65 billion. It's 2,60,000 crores. His auditor had a room, an office, which is maybe 1/10 of this hall, and a single auditor. And now, how could, if it's not a fraud, what is it? Because if it had been somebody else, they would have uncovered perhaps. But below that, there are numerous other entities. There were some reputed auditors too. But why did it persist? Madoff was very well connected with all the regulators. When he walked, they would garland him. Oh, wow. It happened in India to Harshad Mehta, if you have seen the movie of Harshad Mehta also. He could walk into a Reserve Bank governor's office without appointment. That was big bull of Dalal Street. That was Harshad Mehta. He would ride a fancy car, Lexus, and then everybody would say, wow, he's the Harshad Mehta. Till finally, he also collapsed, not able to pay. And then because he was fraudulently using bankers' receipts, that's another thing. More recent in India, IL and FS, Infrastructure Leasing and Financial Services, as you know. Debatable, is it a fraud, not a fraud, but highly risky practices. You had layers of entities. You're investing in businesses, let's say toll roads. You're investing in other projects, 30-year projects. There's no 30-year borrowing in India. You borrow for 10 years or even less. Now when you borrow for a short period, but your project is long period, you need to be earning to be able to repay the borrow. So there is an asset liability mismatch there. Whole host of things. They would have shown better results by charging the subsidiaries for certain services. And there are a lot of questionable practices. The jury is still out. One doesn't know whether everything is fraudulent, or only reporting is fraudulent, or practices were fraudulent, or really monies were siphoned. I think this is still under investigation papers. DHFL, you would have heard of this. Diwan Housing Finance Corporation. Again, several thousand crores, banks have been defrauded. Allegedly, they created 21,000 fake loan accounts. And past entries have been shown the money being given on loan to those 21,000 different borrowers. There is no such borrower. Those are all fake loan accounts. That money has been siphoned out. Now, and used for various purposes, and when those purposes fail, you can't repay back the money. So, creating fictitious loan accounts, not providing for loans on genuine borrowers who have failed, which is what we call expected credit losses or credit loss impairments, credit impairments. But DHFL and through shell companies. Shell companies is a very common mechanism. You create entities, you lend to that entity. That entity is a small entity, no business, you siphon out from that. These are some of the cases I have given you. Now let me take you through I'll use some detection mechanisms also, I'll show you. And also some broad principles of fraud detection and prevention. How are corporate frauds discovered? We talked about it already. 1/3, more than half of the tips came from employees, and then of course customers and vendors also. That we have already talked about for a different time. You'll always ask, how does a fraudster look like? Right? That must be a very common question. Can you differentiate between a thief and an ordinary person? Well, a fraudster may be dressed like me. A fraudster is God-fearing, conscientious, never takes sleep, very possessive of his work, very organized, because to commit a fraud you have to be organized. Now when you look in the mirror, you'll find, hey, I've got those same qualities, isn't it? So there is nobody who comes with the label fraudster. That much you can be. And you can find, and sorry to say this, no reflection on Bhavans, but 2/3 of the occupational fraudsters had a university degree or higher. So it doesn't mean those, if you don't have a university degree, you're not a fraudster. Or if you have a university degree, you're likely to be a fraudster. It's just a fact, but that is what it is shown. Okay, and then there is median loss I have already spoken about. I don't want to take it. What could be some signals of fraud? Okay, employee expense statements, lavish spending. Then you must be, as they say, living beyond his means. There is 1 or 2 persons who are dictators in a company. They dominate. Only he knows. He will decide. He has the authority. Obviously, he is the one perpetrating the fraud. If it is so transparent, everybody will be involved. There is collegiality, there is collective decision making. But you want to hide something, you will say, you are nobody to question. I am telling you, do this way, this is what it is. This is the end. And that's exactly what happened. Even in Satyam, they said, only Ramringa Raju and his brother knew what was right and what was wrong. The rest did not know. Purchases and other related party transactions, big time. You show fictitious purchases, for genuine purchases, you pay multiple times the amount, you divert funds out. Too many subsidiaries, high volume of transactions, frequently changing accounting rules or practices to show better results. Oh, let's value inventories on first in, first out now. I'll get a higher valuation for inventories. Next year, I change the valuation to weighted average cost method. Third year, last in, first out method. I mean, I am essentially cooking up the books. The inventories are the same. Frequent changes of auditors, CFOs leaving, they say rats jump, continuous rollover of loans. If anybody comes and says, look, I want an extension, then you must first signal that there is something wrong. Isn't it? If you have lent money to a friend and he comes back to you and said, I can't give you tomorrow, give me 1 more week's time. That means he's under stress. There is something wrong. It's not that he repaid you and then came back later on and said, I need some more money. He's not even repaying, he's rolling over. Excessive, and many times you'll find when you look at the books, excessive transactions at the year ends. At the year end, a lot of entries are passed. That means something is cooking. It's not that the business happens only at the year. Business is happening all through the year. So this is another signal. We need to be alert for all of this. And everybody, their own close relatives are employed. Their close relatives are supplying goods. Obviously, there is something shady which is happening in that. And missing documents. Now, I've even experienced this. Whenever there is chaos, there is fraud. I'll give you 2 illustrations. in Calcutta, and I'm talking 90s when I was there, Central Bank in Calcutta suddenly caught fire. Now everybody says, oh, this caught fire, call fire engine, all that fine. Nobody asked why did the fire happen. The real reason. The reason otherwise said is electrical short circuit and all that. The real reason was there was fraud in the books. So the books got burned. So the fraud disappeared, right? You can't. So everything you say is gone in the fire. I don't know. Now it got covered. I remember in another manufacturing company in the night, the diesel tank was left open. All the diesel flowed out. Next day, the hue and cry, who opened the tap, who didn't close it, all sorts of things. The internal auditor was a very smart guy called Pochher Bala. He realized that in diesel consumption there must be a fraud. He started investigating diesel purchases and consumption. Sure enough, there was a fraud. To cover up the fraud, they left the tap open. Now, frauds can be, sometimes you should also know what is the stolen. I'll give you an example. There was a guy who was taking a wheelbarrow full of grass. He was going at the security gate, like a Bhavan's gate. Security guard stopped. Hey, grass chori kar raha hai? He said, maaf kijiye huzur, he threw the grass. And actually he's stealing the wheelbarrow. So you must understand what is being stolen. Look at those signals correctly. So when documents are missing, when something is saying no, misplaced, it is to cover up a fraud. That is why it may not be there. Okay. So you look for accounting anomalies, you look for behavioral symptoms, you look for lifestyle symptoms, very well dressed, comes in a flashy car, latest mobile phone, but he's only a peon in the company. So obviously he's earning money from some other means, right? Analytical symptoms follows. Then let me go on to the next one. This also you'll be familiar with. Excessive living beyond one's means, refusal to take vacations, addiction problem, he's always drunk, past legal problems, irritability, suspiciousness, defensiveness, complaining about lack of authority, family problems, financial difficulties, constantly borrowing from somebody or the other, instability in life. These are some of the signals for individuals. Okay, corporate signals are in a way different. Now, if you look at the fraud prevention and detection approach, you start with having the right quality. High quality data, you can analyze that data and detect fraud. If your data is inadequate, now for instance, I'll give you an illustration of data. Let's say if my home address and Krishna Kumar's home address were the same. In the name Krishna Kumar, Defense Colony, PR Ramesh, Defense Colony, same house number, isn't it suspicious? So when you have, but if you didn't capture data of address, you had Krishna Kumar, PR Ramesh, etc., you will never be able to detect fraud. So quality of data, how data is organized. When we investigate, we try and see commonality of addresses, commonality of surnames, the PAN, whole host of data things are there. And then the controls mechanism, not dependent on only one person, not dependent on, at the same time it shouldn't be predictive. And finally, a lot of predictive analytics. You analyze that data and it should predict, saying there seems to be something unusual here. It can't be. I mean, I will tell you, supposing the analytics show that I am perfect, my business is in Defense Colony. I can get everything around Defense Colony and Yesranagar, but I'm buying from Charminar area. Why would I buy from Charminar? Something unusual, right? So that will come out in analytics. When you get into supplier, who's the vendor, what is the address, what is the product, what is the price, etc. And that's exactly. And sometimes you are saying, no, we have to pay advance to the supplier, otherwise he won't supply. But you are paying advance equal to 5 years supply. Then is it normal? That has happened in the most recent case. That also has been there. So I can go on fraud detection and approaches. There are lots of slides in this, but I don't want to complicate you with this. Suffice to say, you need to do identify the data, do a lot of forensic collection. A lot of forensic tools are there, and we'll give you one or two examples also. And forensic analytics is required. So there is very complicated subjects here. Okay. But we need to integrate the whole fraud risk strategy into it. One of the mechanisms is zero-based budgeting. You start from zero, so you start afresh every time. Now, some quick tools and accelerators. There is what is called Benford's law, which you apply that and look at all the transactions. How many transactions are ending with all three zeros? How many transactions are ending only at the month end? You can look at, manipulate the numbers, you will get some patterns which seem unusual. Why is it so? And I'll give you one case in that. Okay. And I talked about data analytics. One case study I'll take you through which may seem interesting. Okay, some case studies. Take this. There was a major irrigation dam in a project engineering company. The scam was $1 billion. Now look at the left side here. Several directors are very senior people, supposedly. They constituted the management. There was inventories of steel, etc., of $250 million on site. Okay, that is around 2,000 crores of steel, the inventory was there. High-tech subsidiaries, associates, billions of dollars of steel purchases of multiple sophisticated machines. But what was the reality? The reality, maids and sweepers were directors. You drill down who is that person, a maid in that company or a sweeper in that company. They were just going to sign. Okay. You can't have so much of steel because the capacity was less than 10%. You can't even hold 10% of that value of steel. So you can't show so much of steel. Where would you have stored it? That should be a common sense, right? And then shell companies were created. Many vehicle numbers for purchases or transport, if you looked at, will you transport steel on scooters or two-wheelers? This happened in the Bihar, Lalu Prasad Yadav scam also, where all that was fodder was transported actually on two-wheelers. And same thing, and even trucks, it was impossible to do that many trips given the distance which had to be covered. Now these are analytics. This is logical information. The vehicle number will seem genuine, but you drill down what is the type of vehicle, what load can it carry, who is the owner, where is the vehicle registered, is that a taxi at all? I'm just giving you instances. And forensic audit revealed that payments were made for machines with the same serial numbers. When you did further forensic, which is that serial number, this is just one illustration. Okay. Another one is what we call the salad oil scandal. If you have looked at the bank loans that are given for purchase of the salad oil, it exceeded all the salad oil in the country. Obviously, some of the loans is not for salad oil, right? Now, I'll give you another case. This is the last of the case. Vendor fraud. A company was very disturbed by constant whistleblower complaints. They're saying there is a fraud in your company, supplier fraud. Internal auditors were told to look at. They couldn't find much. Okay. Then one of the investigators, whom I know very well, he applied a very novel, a different method. And I'll show you that method. This is what a simple vendor data looks like. You just look at the data. Date, street, name, vendor, created by, PAN number. Very genuine, right? No issue here. You can't make out anything from it. This is what is given to you, right? Now, this is what internal auditors looked at. But what did the investigator do? What he did was, he did some sort of a sort and said, let me look at the date and convert that date to a day. And then when he did that and rearranged, you look at when the vendor itself was created. How many Sundays the vendor is created? Okay, now let me take this to one more step further. And then we further drill down. On Sundays, one person called Raju, he has created. So why would he come on Sunday to create a vendor? and that Raju. This was not evident when you looked at the whole list. This is what are some of the techniques which are used. You will never be able to find out unless you use analytics, forensic analytics, and using also predictive analytics in this. And then, so this approach is what we call the kaleidoscopic approach. You eliminate all the genuine names, you identify fake addresses, you start examining the addresses. All the investigators do all this. So it revealed that Raju came on Sundays to create few genuine codes, but mostly false codes. Because every thief is also smart. He will create few genuine. So even in sampling something is picked up, it may turn out to be genuine. But this was going on in that company for over 2 years. 12.5 crores were siphoned off. So this is the concept of kaleidoscope which we say. You know, it's all mixed like this, right? In a if you have used the kaleidoscope, you will know. Right? And then you will get on to what we would call the final picture. Let me end with some critical success factors, and in the interest of time, you need to do a fraud risk assessment. Everybody needs to do a fraud. In every aspect of it. Am I vulnerable? Is my business vulnerable to fraud? Are my subordinates committing a fraud? Is my organization, whatever may be, even if it's an educational institution, is it vulnerable to fraud? Is there an admission fraud? Is there a recruitment fraud? Is there a fraud in fee collection? There have been so many, and every business, it's important to assess what could go wrong, what is the potential of fraud, map all those fraud risks to what are the controls which should prevent or detect those risks, fraud from happening. And you need to have a like health checkup. I would recommend a fraud health checkup. Somebody should come in and do a forensic around just to see that there is no fraud which is happening. Otherwise, there are many other anti-fraud programs which you can do, and you can benchmark it to the best practices. How are others doing? I just want to show you two things. This one, corporate frauds in India. 80% believe, the survey done by Deloitte recently, 80% believe frauds will rise in the coming years, dominated by cybercrime. I don't need to explain this. All of you, every day you get calls. You are exposed to cybercrime. Jamtara is one of the places also you have seen the help of it. 78% believe that frauds in the banking sector will increase over the next year. 70% expect a rise in the quantum of fraud. Despite of all what is happening, the more and more we talk of AI, artificial intelligence, generative AI, you will find it difficult to distinguish between genuine and fake. So you will be far too vulnerable towards frauds, particularly digital fraud, and that is the hard reality. And if you see, over the 3 years when we did surveys, there was a clear shift. Now it is more into fake or fraudulent documentation and cybercrime, of course, which was not there a few years ago. Cybercrime was not so big. This is just in the banking sector. And I can tell you in the corporates which we face, you will suddenly have a finance guy sitting. Oh man, he gets a video call from his CEO. CEO says, look, we are undertaking a very secretive transaction. The market should not know of it, otherwise share price will, regulators will come after us. So please don't tell anybody. A lawyer will contact you. Do what he tells you to do. Then because this transaction is very urgent, and it's the CEO speaking on video. And this CFO, of course, CEO is saying, immediately 5 minutes later a call comes, a lawyer, supposedly a lawyer, he says, this is the deal, this is the bank account, please remit so much money. He doesn't. So the CEO's video is fake. Because what happens in Zoom calls and other things, oh, we are not able to hear you, voice is not clear. Actually, the video is picked up and the old video is picked up. Audio is muted and shown, and some other thing is transmitted. You start, and this has happened. Not only in India, abroad, there are bad actors, innovative things which happen. Phishing, we call as one of the things in emails, whole host of things. The simple point is, the subject matter of fraud is so vast, and I can tell you the type. we have to be constantly alert, and that's why I'm glad that financial shenanigans. We have a program forensic, we call a forensic expert. He'll tell you different types of frauds and how some detected by chance, some very complex, even to detect, but yet, and what sort of tools are being used. And in a digital world, it is possible to use very sophisticated digital tools to know even if something is fake. So thank you very much for very patient. I think I'll take a question. You'll take out this, the board thing.
Participants, if you have any questions, you can ask. Students, if you have any questions, you can ask. Sir is ready to answer.
Likely they'll give you the answer also. They are much smarter than we are. Okay, Professor, you have a question? Yeah, you have a question? Sure.
First of all, thank you for a wonderful informative session. Sir, when we come to one of the biggest accounting scandals in the world, WorldCom, they have considered the revenue expenditures as capital, and there itself it's the primary objective of the IFRS 16. The initial recognition itself is not met. And when we come to one of the biggest accounting scandal in India, Reebok India, so in order to increase their quarterly sales, they have sent their stock to warehouses and inflated their sales to increase their share price.
Right.
So once again, IFRS 115, the very recognition criteria of risk and rewards being transferred to the buyer is not met. Sir, in this scenario, don't we think that when the basic recognition criteria itself are not met to for these accounting standards, then the point of having accounting standards itself is null and void. And what do you think about this?
So let me answer this. It's true that accounting has a lot of choices. Accounting has a lot of choices. Because of choices, please sit down, good, because of the choices itself, there would be frauds. Second is, accounting standards today are principle based, they are not rule based. And because they are principle based, judgments arise. Like for instance, you talk of capital and prevention. Let's say you're putting up a plant, you have what is called trial run cost. Till the plant is, you won't declare the plant is complete till completing the trial runs and calibration. Now, if you want to defraud, you will extend the trial run period.
And then capitalize interest and other costs. So there is a subjectivity there. So wherever there is subjectivity,
And that can make a lot of difference. Similarly, intangible assets. Say I am a pharma company. They have developed a very novel drug. I've tried it on patients, etc. Now I would like to capitalize that. Now the question is, there are 5 tests there for intangible assets capitalization, and many of those tests depend on the future. Your ability to market the product, your ability to earn commercial profits. So whenever something is into the future, your guess is as good as mine. So high level of subjectivity. So principle-based standards, high level of subjectivity. In hindsight, we can say it is fraudulent, and sometimes it's genuinely fraudulent where fake entries are passed. So don't blame the accounting for a fraud. Blame the perpetrator for the fraud. Yes. I'll repeat your question if they can't hear.
Two things are there. Number one, I would like to request you to say a few words about what certificate courses do you recommend to the BCom students, or what is the orientation they must develop at the BCom level in order to become a better detector of fraud? That is one question from the example. From my side, of course, I would say that the rule-based and the principle-based, which we are talking about, the principle-based should lead to the transparency. The rule-based, which US is still following, we find the frauds to be more even in the US as well. That is rule-based as well. So frauds exist either in rule-based or in the principle-based. As you rightly said, that the very approach of the regulators as well as the practitioners has undergone a change. The last but not least, I would like to make my observation is, instead of punishing the wrongdoers, we are tightening the rules or regulations in India, resulting in inconveniences to the common man who is a genuine taxpayer. This is my answer. Please comment on that.
Yeah, okay. Let me start with the last one first.
Yeah.
Now, if we don't tighten the rule, that is likely to recur again. There will always be some collateral damage that will happen if you, in trying to prevent a theft from happening. Now, in trying to prevent, let's say, assume if I were a hotel, how do I prevent occupants of a hotel stealing cutlery from the hotel? The only way I can do it is whenever they go to the hotel, I check their pockets, check everything. But if you are staying in a hotel, will you accept being searched? Every time you go out of the hotel, go to a restaurant or come out of a restaurant, you can't. So sometimes there is an issue of how much you regulate versus what is the ideal level of it. From a regulator's perspective, a regulator is answerable if it repeats. So he will play it safe. When Companies Act was being formed, it was a bill in 2012, etc. I have appeared before select committees of parliament, told the Ministry of Corporate Affairs repeatedly, why are you making certain provisions so stringent? They said 3 yes. Satyam, Sahara, Sarda. They said we are answerable to the parliament, so it's okay. I know it doesn't apply to the Tatas, Mahindras, etc. But sorry to say, the law we have to protect even the we have to go after even the worst crew. So the lowest common denominator is what we do. So what is it that students, or for that matter anybody, we had asked Tom Friedman, and I said this earlier in our session. In such a world today which is so quickly changing, what is it one needs to do? Amongst the many things, one of the qualities, he said 5 things, but I don't want to take the time, is curiosity quotient. You need to be, you don't take anything, you need to ask why not, it be different. Curiosity should be your DNA. That's what you don't believe things off. You're very busy with something, you get a call. So you will say okay or something like that. You may respond. And so people take advantage of your vulnerability. So you should ask yourself, and even you get enough calls with people coming as video in police dress, etc., saying that such packages come, you'll have to pay this much money, otherwise you will be arrested. So out of fear. So there are various factors, but the thing is, isn't it unusual? Why will he call you in a video call? You should get a legal notice, you should go to your house, all those sort of things. Now, this thing is a constant. Being alert, curiosity quotient is the only substitute for this, and sometimes not doing is better. Doesn't matter, face the penalty. They say tomorrow your bank account will not operate. Please update your KYC. And you go online and update your KYC, your bank account itself disappears actually. Right? So you say it doesn't matter, let me go to the bank. Otherwise bank manager will call me. Somebody will call me. I'll sue them if they lock my bank account and give me something. So you should ask yourself, do I go ahead with this? Do I believe it or should I go? Students courses here.
Courses.
Courses, courses depend on what you want. You want to be a fraud examiner, there is Association of Certified Fraud Examiners. You have, it all depends on what sort of mind you have. You have an analytical, some people, the courses will depend on what you. I don't want all of you to become fraud specialists. If you become a fraud investigator, lifelong you'll appear in courts in India. But till the case is over, you'll be caught. Because you are the investigator or you are the witness. Do you want to do that? You go to Nampally courts or criminal courts and then give evidence and date will get for the court. Not for me, I would not like. I have appeared as witnesses when I have investigated. And when I have investigated, standing in the witness box as an investigator, the defendant's lawyer says, Mr. P.R. Ramesh actually committed the crime. I said, I came and afterwards to investigate. I told the judge, the judge said, please deny. So I denied, that's all. But the fact is they turned the whole table round and then get me a criminal. I said, I'll never take up this sort of investigation. Even for Satyam, which I did. I had to appear before everybody, CBI, CID, Enforcement Directorate, name it, Income Tax Department, but not as a victim, but as a person who, and sometimes I have to tell them how it has happened, how it is explained, because I am an expert. Okay, thank you.
So one question.
Yes, oh sorry. I hope to respect now.
So like you said about the financial health checkups that are being done. Like this is true of corporate governance, there are chartered accountants, cost accountants doing there is internal audit, external audit and other things as well. Now would it be undermining this professional kind of a thing? And again, you over and above that, when you talk about the financial health checkups that must be done.
Fundamentally, you have to accept, just because there is a profession of doctors, doesn't mean all doctors are great. There are wrong diagnosis, and that is why there are settlements which happen. Every profession, there are black sheep, there are mistakes which happen, there are fraud. So if you want to protect yourself from vulnerability of fraud, please go through it. Just because you have a great doctor doesn't mean you shouldn't go to whichever diagnostic will get your contact. Because you will aid in detecting rather than waiting for somebody to get. Even if your doctor tells you you're okay, sometimes it's better to take some tests. That's what it said. Thank you. Thank you.
So I take one more question.
Yeah, miss 5 seconds. Like a second. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. I'm sure.
Thank you, sir, for such a captivating session.
Moving on to our second technical session, we are fortunate to have with us Dr. Rachappa Shetty sir, Associate Professor at IIM Kozhikode, to share his expert views. Let's warmly welcome him.
Thank you.
Mr. Rachappa Shetty sir is currently working as Associate Professor and Chairperson, Student Affairs at Indian Institute of Management, Kozhikode. He trains executives more than 100 companies, including senior officers of 7. He published his research paper in multiple national and international journals. Sir did his MCom and PhD from Osmania University, Hyderabad, and later he attended faculty development programs at top business schools. He has teaching and training experience of 23 years. Prior to IIM Kozhikode, he worked as faculty at National Institute of Security Markets, Narsingunchi Institute of Management Studies, Osmania University. He is a visiting faculty at multiple national importance institutions, which include IITs and IIMs. He is a board member of Indian Accounting Standard Board, Indian Accounting Standard Board for local bodies. Sir authored a book titled Accounting Simplified, published by Penguin Random House, India. Sir has been awarded with Young Researcher Award of Indian Accounting Association in 2010. We request Sir to begin the session. Sir is online.
Thank you. I hope I am audible clearly to everyone. Can I go ahead? Yeah. At the outset, I would like to thank organizers, Dr. Sanjeev Rao, Dr. Uma Jayendar, co-conveners, Kamla Devi Madam, Head of the Department of Commerce, Bhavans College, Group Captain, Ramanaya, Honorable Secretary of Bhavans, Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan, Principal of Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan College, Dr. Chaudhary sir, and respected my teacher and chairman of Indian Accounting Association Hyderabad branch, Professor Obul Reddy sir, uh, Chartered Accountant KCH AVSN Murthy, and Vice Chairman of Indian Accounting Association Hyderabad chapter, Dr. Naresh Reddy sir, the Secretary of Indian Accounting Association Hyderabad chapter, PR Ramesh sir from Deloitte, my teacher again, Professor Apparao sir, who is President of Indian Accounting Association, and most importantly, former President and my PhD guide, Professor Achalapati sir, distinguished participants from Hyderabad chapter and other parts of the country. Good evening, everyone. I'm very happy to be part of this national seminar. It's really a great honor to me to be a speaker. At the same time, I'm a bit nervous because I'm talking in front of my great teachers, Professor Obul Reddy, Professor Apparao, Professor Achalapati sir, and others. So I was listening to the PR Ramesh sir. So for some technical glitches, I missed some of the the points. However, I have noted that he has emphasized there's the existence of large number of frauds. He started with Enron, and he presented a lot of cases from India and abroad. And also he has emphasized there is undetection of frauds. Lot of frauds are going undetected. And also he has emphasized why people commit the frauds and why companies commit the fraud. Okay. And also I have listened to him, there's a lot of importance for fraud detection and prevention of the fraud, and he was talking about quality of data analysis. And sir, I have noted, the zeros and non-zeros. And Ramesh sir was talking about schemes of the fraud, different schemes of frauds. And at the end, the discussion was on, Ramesh sir, I have noted, that we should not blame the accounting or accounting standards for, accounting frauds, but we should blame the fraudsters. That's one I have noted, and I have noted what should be the the accounting standard. Should it be a rule based or principle based? And again at the end, so there was a comment saying that instead of punishing the fraudsters, we are tightening the law. So this is what I could listen so far, and I'm going to continue this. Just allow me 10 seconds. I'll share the screen. Yes, I hope all of you can see my screen. This is my plan of talk. I would like to talk about 40 to 45 minutes. And after that, so if there are any questions, I'll be happy to address them. So let me start with this first point, what's the meaning of financial shenanigans? It's nothing but, the accounting frauds. It's nothing but, the misrepresenting the financial performance or financial condition of the company, or giving wrong information in simple balance sheet or profit and loss statement and cash flow statement. uh, I would like to here to summarize this meaning of financial shenanigans or frauds. I would like to start with a joke, for 1 to 2 minutes. Maybe some of you are aware, but please allow me to complete fully. It goes like this. There is a small, this startup, and this startup was very successful. It has grown up. Initially, everything was managed by entrepreneur. He was managing finance, sales, marketing, and everything. And later on, he decided to recruit their accounting and finance head. When they advertise, there are a lot of applications, and finally, the three candidates were shortlisted. The first candidate was an arts candidate with an MBA in finance. Second candidate was an engineer with an MBA in finance. The third candidate was an accounting person with masters in accounting. It was the term of first candidate. The panelists asked him very simple question: 2 plus 2 is equal to how much? This first candidate comes with an arts background. He was very poor in mathematics. He said, "Sir, 22." Panelists had a smile and said, "All right, we'll call you back." It was a term of an engineer with an MBA in finance. Again, he was asked same question: 2 plus 2 is equal to how much? Because he comes with a science background, he pulled out his scientific calculator and said, according to my scientific calculator, it lies in between 3.999 to 4.0001. It was an unusual answer for the panelists. Panelists said, all right, we'll call you back. It was the term of an accounting person. Again, he was asked same question: 2 plus 2 is equal to how much? He thought for a while and looked at interview room door. It was open. He went to door. He closed it. He locked it. And then he occupied his seat. After thinking for a while and leaning on the table of panelists, he said, "Sir, how much you want it to be?" Okay. So this is how you ask an accountant 2 plus 2 is equal to how much? Okay. So it says that anything is possible. Anything is possible. So this is how the accounting is. Some accountants make 2 plus 2 can be anything. And sir has given a lot of the examples. Yes, you're audible.
So we can't hear you. Suddenly you were muted, sir.
No, it is unmuted. Can you hear me now?
Now he heard it in the online meeting.
Am I audible now?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Okay. Thank you. I hope you could listen my joke. I don't know you could hear it fully. So I was saying that when accountant was asked 2 plus 2 is
sir,
equal
actually
to how
online,
much, he
you are
said
audible.
how much you want it to be. So this is
We are
how
doing
in
our
accounting
speaker.
2
We are
plus 2
connecting our
can be
speakers. Sir.
anything. So there were a lot of case studies by the previous speaker. As a researcher, if you'd like to know the case studies, here is a link, please. You can go to this link. You can see here the plenty of case studies. Here's a case study on Sanvaria Consumer Limited. Here is a case study about the Vikas Propent and Granite Limited. Here is a case study about DHFL, and so on. So you will find about 100 case studies. Okay, 100 case studies are there. Dear host.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Am I audible?
Give me the mic. Give me the. So can you talk now?
Yeah, can you hear me now? Am I audible now?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Please stop me immediately. I can hear you clearly. Whenever there is a problem, please stop me. Can you see my screen? This Government of India screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. So I was talking about this link where you can find, hundreds of case studies to write research papers on accounting frauds, please. So you can go to 1, 2, 3, and so on. So this I have used this data, several times. Here are the orders on Quasi Corporation and S Kumar and DHFRL and so on. So this is the one I would like to share. So you want cases on fraudulent accounting, you go to this. So you'll find hundreds of companies. And now another one, you would like to have literature on financial shenanigans or earnings manipulation or earnings management. Please visit this site, this Scopus site. You go to Scopus site here. Okay, you will get plenty of literature, please. If you can see my screen, I will just write earnings manipulation. Okay, and I'll say search. Okay, look at there are 1,000 plus studies. 1,000 plus studies are there on earnings manipulation. So what I can do is I can go for analyze results. Okay, just click on analyze result. You get the year wise research papers on fraudulent accounting. Okay, and you'll get the author wise research papers. Look at here are the maximum number of papers by Volskova. Okay, and you'll get research papers country wise. Okay, you'll find maximum number of research papers from United States. You'll also get maximum number of papers from you'll find a lot of papers from India as well. Look at here is a country India. You click on this, you get a lot of papers, please. So this is one of the important the database to make use of review of literature. So this is all about background. So I think there was some technical problem. So I gave the meaning of financial shenanigans or frauds using a accounting joke. And this link is for case studies to do a lot of research. And here is the website you can make use for doing literature analysis on fraudulent accounting or financial shenanigans or earnings management and so on. Okay, so now let's see what is the impact of financial shenanigans or frauds on balance sheet, on profit and loss statement, cash flow statement, and the disclosures. One of the most important impact of frauds is most of the times PAT has been inflated, profit after tax has been inflated, earnings per share has been inflated. EBITDA, earnings before interest, tax, depreciation, amortization has been inflated. Even sales revenue has been inflated. So these are the 4 line items you should focus on when you are researching. You should use the data about these 4 lines, the top 4. Okay, and you can also use these expenses, depreciation expense, advertising expense, R&D expense, cost of goods sold expense, employees expense, which have been deflated in financial frauds. So this is the impact of profit and loss. But please note 90% of the research papers are on PAT and EPS. As we all know that when we look at the income statement, we first look at what's the profit. So your research should focus on PAT or EPS. Let's look at on balance sheet. So in balance sheet, when companies perpetrate frauds, they would like to maximize equity because equity is known as net worth. It is known as value of the company. And companies also try to maximize receivables, inventory because they will show higher working capital. They will show higher current ratio. You all know that the companies would like to show higher net worth, higher working capital. Hence, you should focus on these variables when you are researching. And also, you should focus on plant, property, and equipment. Companies try to inflate this. When they go to bank, the banker will look at plant and property as an asset. Hence, companies will try to manipulate this. Companies also try to manipulate intangible assets because it's easier to manipulate and it's very difficult to detect in case of intangible assets. Here are the some more variable items, the cash and bank balance is a Satyam's case where the Satyam use, the cash and bank to perpetrate the frauds. So though the cash flow statement is known as fact, it is very difficult to manipulate. But please note, even the cash flow statement is also manipulated. The companies try to inflate cash flows from operations, and also the companies try to inflate the cash invested in investing activities. So you should focus these line items, please. Net cash flows from operations, net cash used in investing activities. And coming to the last one, please. Okay. In your research, please try to analyze the way CEO's letter is written. Is it written in easy language or difficult language? Whether management discussion and analysis, is it written in easy or difficult language? Similarly, auditors report and so on. When there is some fraud, the research shows that these reports are written in very difficult language, please. Okay. If there is no fraud, the companies write in easy language. Okay. I hope I'm audible.
Sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So let's look at briefly. This is what I'm giving you the background for the research ideas. Okay. We need to understand when we are researching. We should understand what's the pressure on the companies. Okay. What are the reasons for financial fraud? One of the main reasons, as Mr. P.R. Ramesh was talking, pressure on the companies. The lot of pressure from the analysts, equity analysts, and the lot of pressure from previous performance of the company. Let's say company was performing very good. Look at Satyam Computers. It was doing very good in early 2000s. So when someone is doing good, they have to continue that performance. When they're not able to do, they will perpetrate the frauds and sometimes targets set by the management. Okay. I'm asked to achieve certain target. When I fail to achieve, I will do something to perpetrate the frauds. And the competition from competitors. Look at it, this is Satyam Computers. There was a lot of competition from TCS, competition from Infosys, other companies to maintain the expectations. So the Satyam Computer went for fraud. Similarly, here are the pressure from the banker and pressure from economic conditions. The economic conditions are very unfavorable. I'm not able to perform. Hence, the companies may perpetrate the fraud. So when we are researching, we need to look at, we need to identify what's the pressure on the companies. Okay, so that's one of the main reasons for the fraud. And another reason for perpetrating fraud is, the companies where a lot of opportunities to hide the fraudulent schemes, financial shenanigans. If company can do fraud and hide it easily, there is lot of scope for fraud. Let's say if there is a small auditor or the unknown auditor or known auditor, and the corporate governance of the company is weak, or the controlling system, what kind of controlling system is there inside the company, whether they have whistleblowing system or not, and as somebody is talking, the choice in accounting, a lot of choice, okay, and lot of ambiguity in accounting standards, and lot of difficulty in understanding the accounting standards, and lot of the gap in accounting education. I should be thankful to Indian Accounting Standard for having a technical session on financial shenanigans. One of the main reasons for accounting frauds in India is lack of education on accounting fraud. So here are the opportunities, why the frauds are happening. We should also look at integrity of the company, please. Okay, what are the ethical standards of the company? And the ethical standards of a company are low. There's a high chance of accounting fraud. Okay, this is the background, why companies perpetrate the frauds. And now what I will do, I'll give you the background about the models to detect the financial shenanigans, please. And then I'll come to research ideas. Okay, I'm going to talk about a few most popular models for 10 minutes, and then I'll definitely come to the researchable ideas. The first one is discretionary accruals. The discretionary accrual is nothing but non-cash profit. If companies have to perpetrate fraud, they do it with the help of non-cash items, please. If they have to do with cash item, it's very difficult to do it. Okay, they go for non-cash items. What are these non-cash items? We all know as accounting teachers, depreciation. Okay, playing with depreciation, playing with credit sales. Okay, playing with provision for fringe benefits of the employees like gratuity, okay, and holiday expenses, and so on. Wherever there is no cash, there is a high chance of fraud, please. I'm repeating, you should focus on credit sales, okay, depreciation, provisions, and so on. Okay, so mathematically, how do we measure? You should find out abnormal non-cash profit, which is known as discretionary accruals. In Scopus, if you type discretionary accruals, I guess you will get more than 1 million research papers. 1 million research papers who have used discretionary accruals, please. So discretionary accruals is nothing but abnormal accrual, abnormal non-cash profit. Okay, it's nothing but actual accruals minus expected accruals. So in short, how do you make conclusion? If discretionary accruals are higher in case of your sample companies, it means there is some goldmark. There is some possibility of Gotala. So that could be the conclusion. So this is one model. And the second model is, this is second most frequently used, the research method in earnings management or earnings manipulation, which is called real measures. Here, it is called, you are going to measure or conclude using abnormal net operating cash flows, please. As a researcher, you need to find out what are abnormal net cash flows from operations. What is this abnormal? We talk in economics everywhere. Abnormal net cash flows are nothing but actual net cash flows from operations minus expected net cash flows from operations. Okay, this you can take it for a large sample of 100 companies or 500 companies or 1,000 companies, and if the abnormal net cash flows from operations is higher, it means there is a possibility of financial fraud, financial shenanigans. Okay, so far I could speak about abnormal non-cash profit, abnormal net cash flows from operations, and let's come to third one, digital analysis. I will link this to Mr. P.R. Ramesh was talking about zeros and non-zeros. This is what exactly. Please think for a while. I've been talking continuously. I'll have some water. And meanwhile, you can think of this. Okay. Is there any significant difference between these two amount of profits? Is there any significant difference between these two losses? Mathematically, no. There is no difference between these two. Okay, I hope many of you agree, but I'm sure some of you must be thinking, psychologically, there's a huge difference between 9,999 and 10,000 rupees. Okay, so this is what exactly companies are doing it, please. Companies, when their profit is 9,999, they are trying to report it as a 10,000 rupees. Okay, and when the losses are a 10,000 loss, they are reporting it as 9,999. Our loss is only 9,099. Okay, it looks smaller. I hope many of you agree. You go to shopping mall or barter pricing. Okay, so this is what I have learned from Professor Achalapati in 2002 and 3. He was talking about barter pricing. Okay, the barter pricing is 99 rupees. 999 rupees. Why are they using 99? This 99 looks very low. Okay, when companies are also, when they are reporting losses, they are reporting 99. But when it is profit, they call it as 100 rupees of profit. So this I call it as digital analysis. Okay, what is financial shenanigan here? Okay, take profit, the PAT, profit after tax data of 100 companies, 1,000 companies, or just take balance sheet, cash flow statement, and profit and loss statement of Enron. Today evening you can do it. You take Enron's statement and count how many zeros are there. You will find many zeros in case of Enron. So occurrence of more zeros and less nines. More zeros and less nines is nothing but financial shenanigan. In case of Enron. And if it is losses, you take 100 companies losses. Please check the zeros. You'll find less zeros and you'll find more nines. Okay, so this is another method of detecting the fraud, please. We have to, as Mr. P.R. Ramesh was emphasizing, accounting analytics. What should BCom student do? The BCom student should focus on accounting analytics. They should use their mathematical knowledge. This Benford law is mathematical law. It's very difficult for me to understand, but someone coming with good in mathematics, they can do it. By the way, this model was first time applied in accounting fraud detection by an IITian, Mr. Jacob Thomas, who studied his mathematics in IIT Bombay. He applied first time to accounting data in 1988. He's a professor of accounting, though he comes with mathematics background. Okay, so here is an online resource, please. So it is by Professor Nigrini, who is the greatest devotee of Benford law. You can see here. Okay, He's the greatest devotee of, just give me a second. Okay. If you see this link later, you can click on this link. Okay. And you will see, the online resources about this particular model, right? So I hope I am audible clearly to everyone. Now coming to the fourth one, a discontinuity in earnings method. Again, look at the difference between the profit of rupees -1 and +1. I ask you a question. Is there any significant difference in between these two profits? Okay. Or is there any significant difference between this profit and this profit? There's a difference of only 1 rupee, please. Only 1 rupee difference. Again, mathematically, numerically, there is no difference. But look at psychologically, this is a loss and this is profit. You want to be known as a profit-making company or loss-making company. Many companies are reporting 1 rupee profit, 10 rupees profit, 100 rupees profit, a small amount of profit. Okay, and coming to the second example, what is difference between these two profits? It's only 1 rupee. But why companies, instead of reporting 5678, they are reporting 5679? They would like to show that we are growing company. Growing company, whether it is growing by 0.1% or 0.2% or 0.3%, it doesn't make any difference. The headlines will be made in the newspaper. Rajapa's company is a growing company. Okay, the stock market will react positively. But if profit is, current year profit is less than previous year profit by even by 1 rupee, they'll say Rajapa's company is a declining company. The stock prices will crash. Hence, what is shenanigan here? Please note, if firms are trying to avoid small losses and they're reporting small amount of profit, please, it is possibly a risky company. Okay, if company is reporting small, negative growth, I'm sorry, there is a typo error. It should have been a small positive growth. Okay, no. Okay, yeah. So if companies are trying to avoid small losses and they are trying to avoid small negative growth, and finally they are reporting this is how small profit and small growth in profit, small positive profit and small positive growth in earnings is a financial shenanigan. Okay. On please all of these topics, I have my research papers. You want to know in detail, just type Rajappa Shetty and in Google Scholar, you will get my research paper. In case you have any difficulty in accessing full paper of mine, just mail me. I'll be happy to revert with my full paper on this earning discontinuity method and the previous two methods also. And coming to the next one, please. Okay, this is a straightforward one. It is manipulation score. Use the balance sheet, profit and loss statement, and cash flow statement in case of Enron, in case of Satyam Computers, and calculate this score. It's called Danish because it is developed by the Professor Masood Benesh. Okay, and you'll get a score. And here is a link, please. Okay, you click on this link later, and all that you have to do is record the data. You have to give balance sheet data in that, the link, and submit. You'll get this score. Okay, how do you interpret this score? If score is greater than minus 1.78, if score is greater than this, it is a likely manipulator. If score is in between this, okay, it is a possible manipulator. If score is less than, the minus 0.2, it means there is no evidence of fraud. I did it in case of multiple companies. I did it in case of Infosys, TCS, Tata Motors, most importantly, Satyam Computers, and Adani companies on the same night when the Hindenburg report was released. You can also do it. You just need 5 minutes time to insert the data. Please use this link. Okay, the link which is available in this site. Okay, I cannot show it now. Okay, all right. So let me move on to the finite model, and then I will show you what are the possible research areas. Here is one more place I worked on, the one of the most popular one, textual analysis. Please make use of auditor's report, accounting notes, and there's an important section, management discussion and analysis, and there is one more which I missed. It is letters to shareholders. Use these 4 qualitative documents research. Okay, and what is the research you can do? Or I worked. Here is it, please do readability analysis. Okay, in America and other countries, if you do readability analysis of Enron, Satyam Computers, they were written in very difficult English language. I cannot understand because I studied in Telugu medium. The one who has studied, the score is, the fog index is about 22. It means those who have done formally English studies for 22 years only can understand their English. Okay, I think we all know that, in our classroom, when students don't know right answers, they write in difficult language. They write a lengthy answer, right? Fraudulent companies also, write in long, like sometimes our students do it when they don't know the answer. So you can make use of these things, please. Fog index, flesh index, and so on. So you can do textual analysis also. What is the textual analysis? Okay, you check what are the ethical words, the used by the company in the these document, ethical words, or how frequently company is talking about trust. Okay, please note, there's a one paper in 2024 on trust. It says that the companies which are talking about trust are untrusty companies. They are not trustworthy. Okay, I hope all of you agree. We also notice the people who are talking about trust, they may or may not be following the trust. Okay, so you can do such analysis, and what you can do is, here I forgot to add the online link. There are a lot of online sites, please. Just say computation of fog index. Okay, you copy paste your letter. The first thing you can do today evening is you copy paste your CV and check whether it is written in difficult language or easy language. You will get the fog index. Okay, and if fog index is low, it means easier to read. If fog index is high, it means difficult to read. Okay, so this is one more. This is how I have identified the 6 models, please. Let me summarize. Discretionary accrual, nothing but non-cash profit, is the most frequently used one. Second most frequently used is real measures, maximizing net cash flows from operations. The third one was a digital analysis, which is less used in research. The fourth one was discontinuity in earnings. Okay, and the fifth one was it was about readability. Sorry, manipulation score. And the sixth one is the textual analysis. Okay, and we can be great textual analysts because we do paper evaluation. By looking at paper, most of the times we understand whether answer is right or wrong or it is story and all. So you can do that in accounting research as well. So now let's do different situations. So I have taken a stakeholders role and before and these are the three situations. Now I'll come to for another 15 minutes research ideas, please. Now, what I did, here are my models, 1, 2, and 3, 4. You can use any of these models and you can apply it to, let's say I applied, the Danish manipulation score and auditor. I found that if it is a big auditor like EY, okay, and PwC and other big auditors, I found that the Danish manipulation score was low. If it is an unknown company, if it's unknown auditor, on an average, Danish manipulation score was high. Okay, or you can apply in case of the corporate governance and manipulation score. Okay, or you can go for the companies which are they followed by analysts and not followed by analysts. Okay, or you can see the Danish manipulation score during NPA government and UPA government. Sorry, NDA and UPA government. Or you can go for discretionary accruals when corporate governance is weak or when auditor is big, or you can go for the discretionary accruals when there are FII and non-FII companies and the group companies, non-group companies, or you can do, I have done the textual analysis in case of FII, non-FII. You can do multiple things, please. So here are 7 models and 1, 2, 3 and about 7 analysts. Okay, the 7 stakeholders and government 8 stakeholders. Okay, you can have the about at least the 50 research ideas, please. You can go for different combination. If you want a good research paper, you can go for 2 things: corporate governance, these 2 together, and auditor, and this Danish manipulation score. Okay. And within corporate governance, you can go for the board independence. You can go for board size. And nowadays there's a talk about, I can see a lot of women faculties and the women board members. Okay. And the board member like the Mr. P.R. Ramesh, who is having a lot of knowledge about the fraud detection. This is how in each case there'll be multiple things, please. Or else you can go by group like Tata Group, okay, Adani Group, Reliance Group, okay, and multiple groups. In each one you'll have many things. Okay, I hope you understand this. I'm assuming that I have to do till of 5:15. I don't know, so I will continue for another 5 to 10 minutes and halt for Q&A. Another research area, please. I worked on this. I worked for 3 years. Non-cash profit in case of IPO companies. It is before IPO companies and before IPO, during IPO, and after the IPO. I guess you'll understand in which year the non-cash profit will be highest. It is during IPO. When it comes to IPO years, suddenly non-cash profit will zoom up by 20%, 30%, 40%, 50% because it is non-cash. Very easy to manipulate, please, non-cash thing. Okay. So even you can see one of the important area is now SME. You can't believe SMEs profit, non-cash profit, particularly this SMEs in the IPO year growing by 100%, 200%. I hope all of you can hear me clearly, the percentages which I am quoting. Okay, you can study, the SME IPOs, discretionary accruals or real measures, or you can do, this zero, non-zero in case of, the SMAs. You can do manipulation score of SMAs. You can do textual analysis. Give me a second. Like paper evaluation we do, you do textual analysis of SME IPOs. I have worked in 2014. The IPOs which are underperforming, they have written in very difficult language. Okay, you can type, the Rathappa Shetty IPO document readability in the Google. You should get my research paper. This is how you can work IPO. And when it comes to discretionary accruals, what happens? Just opposite of IPO, the companies are trying to understate their profit. They want to show low profit. They want stock prices to be low so that they can buy back at lower price. Okay, so this is how, and mergers and acquisitions. When company is going to be acquired, they want valuation to be very high. They try to show higher profit and they will manipulate their earnings. So this is how you can look at IPO as an event, buyback as an event, mergers and acquisition as an event. Most important one, New Companies Act. What happened as a result of Companies Act? Whether manipulation score has gone up, you can take 2012 and 13 year and 2013 and 14 year. 1 year before, 1 year after. What is manipulation score? I guess I have not worked. There's a decrease in manipulation score because CEOs, CFOs, and other senior members have to sign off balance sheet and profit and loss statement. And very frequently SEBI's orders are coming. You can look at before and after SEBI's orders, what's happening, and related party orders and so on. As somebody was talking about accounting standards, you can see before new accounting standards, during, when they were implemented, and after implementation. Or if you are coming with OBHR area, you can look at when new CEO comes, what happens? Okay, and when new CEO is leaving the company, what happens? Okay, so here are the multiple events, please. You can look at earnings manipulation. It will not be same, please. Okay, it will not be same. I do not wear same clothes every day. Please note, let me crack a small joke from my personal life. When I went to see my wife first time in 2008, I was in a beautiful dress. Okay, when I met her after engagement in Mumbai railway station, she could not recognize me. This is how in IPO year companies do window dressing, but they don't do it before that. Okay, they don't do it after that. Okay, you have to understand, the timing of earnings management. Okay, and the last one, the last side from my side, it is you have to look at nature of competition and look at financial crisis and during COVID time. And this is very important one, please. Just 4 years baby, but in my view, doing wonderful job. It is an accounting regulator in India. So National Financial Reporting Authority of India. It has come in 2018, before, after, and you can see. And CSR 2013, mandatory CSR. And what is its impact on earnings management or earnings manipulation or fraudulent accounting? I'm sure so many of you talking now ESG, or this is going to come in 2024 or 23 if I'm right. Business responsibility and social responsibility mandatory report. You can look at if these things come, then what happens to the the earnings manipulation. So this is how I had 6 methods. Okay, 6 methods of detecting the earnings manipulation and about the 20 situations, 20 into 6. Okay, you'll have about the 120 research ideas. You can go for any combinations and permutation. So if you take up these topics, you'll find 99% of the research ideas, please. Okay, so this is all about from my end. I hope I could talk for 40-45 minutes. Okay, and I stop here for Q&A if there are any questions, and I hope I can hear it clearly, and I'll be happy to address your queries. Over to you, host.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
This is Padmalata from Bhavan's College. Sir, I have a doubt, like we have several accounting standards, auditing standards, and regulatory authorities, but spite of that, how come that there are so many frauds occurring? So what is the role of these authorities, sir, in controlling them?
So sorry, how come there are so many?
Frauds, sir. Frauds are,
Okay.
Is there. So
frauds, madam, one of the main reason in my view is that, it is a universal problem, please. We call, independent statutory audit. Okay. It is not really independent. In my personal view, it is not really independent because they are doing auditing of client and client is making payment of fee to the auditor. So they both are dependent on each other. This nexus has to be broken all over world, in America, India, everywhere. From 2 parties, we have to make 3 parties. Okay. As long as I'm getting paid by my client, I cannot go against my client. Okay. So this is the main problem. Even, I will say why I become a bad accountant or bad auditor, I also need money. Okay. I also have a dreams. I also have a pressure from neighbors. The neighbors have got 100-inch TV. Okay. Neighbors are going to Switzerland for picnic. I'm taking my family to Lonavala. No. Okay. I also have profit targets. So, it are not really, the independent. Please believe me.
But
so it is only on paper. It is independent.
Yes, sir. That's what independent auditors we use, and also we say that sir, the books of accounts must reveal a true and fair picture. So, I mean, how far the companies are actually, abiding by this?
No, some companies sometimes they are doing it, but not all companies. Padmalata, not all companies. Some companies, as I said, IPO. Okay, many companies are doing it. And SME IPOs, you can see business line and all. Every day there are headlines. Okay. It is easy to detect, as the Professor Achalapati was talking. We should punish the companies which are perpetrating fraud, but unfortunately, the Indian court system takes several decades to punish the fraudsters.
Yes, sir. Yes,
so
sir.
that
Thank
itself is an opportunity for the Indian companies. Indian companies think that what happens if I am caught? I'll be in jail for a few days, then I'll be on bail.
Yes, sir. which means the overall system itself has to be, I think, has to be rectified.
Absolutely. The most important reason is the enforcement of law and order in India is weak. We have very strong accounting standards, as Mr. P.R. Ramesh was saying. We can't blame the accounting standards and accounting system, please. We can blame the enforcement of law and some people who are misusing the law.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving your valuable suggestions to us. Thank you so much, sir.
Hello?
Yes.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Yeah, this is Srinivas Madshetty, retired professor of Usmania University. Is it audible?
Okay. Yes, clearly audible.
I heard presentations of both of you. Excellent presented. One presented about depth of the problem in terms of varieties, quantities, as well as motivations. So like all aspects he has presented, and you have presented very nicely about how to detect the problem. And about 120 ideas you gave. Really both deserve appreciation. So here out of all these discussions, I think we can summarize one or two things. One is about, in spite of taking control measures all over the world, still these Shenanigans are going up.
Yes.
And not only it's going up in volume also increasing like anything.
Okay.
Necessity is the invention of mother. The same synonym we can apply here also. Shatakoti. We have doing so many controls, but in spite of that, why it is going up?
Okay.
And another point, my perception is, so this is it having any relationship with human behavior?
Okay.
Because when we look at the cycle of aspects, when that energy is in subtle form, it appears as one. When energy expands in materialism, all diversity you find. When diversity is there,
I agree with you.
And another point is, when diversity is there, you goodness, passion, ignorance. So as long as expansion is there, these things are tigunatmaka, must, inevitable.
Okay.
So over a period of cycle, one time maybe goodness may prevail over other things, other time maybe passion may prevail, another time ignorance may prevail. So I think that's one point of view is that this is the phase of ignorance, because all of them are not in their original driver's position, but they are in body's position. Body is in the driver's position and driver is in body position. Because of that, all these things are happening. So in this background, if you take any type of measures,
do you have any questions, sir?
Yeah. In this background, if we take up any type of measure, is it going to help us to control these frauds? That is one thing. Then second aspect is, what should be the solution for it? Because driver should be in driver's seat and body it has to be its own things. So the education system should be such that, so they should get this facility from it. So what you opinion about it and what you feel about it? What should be the solution? At least a drastic decrease should be there. If not permanent solution, drastic decrease should be there. So please comment on this.
Sir, one thing I agree with you, the human behavior you're talking about, the education and all. We all know what happened to the integrity levels of, our, the own people, so human beings, integrity and ethical values, even at home, what happened, So I can see, that's one, so the ethical standards have to be maintained and integrity has to be maintained. And this greed, the greed has to come down. We should not ask, our neighbors and our children's, आपका CTC क्या है? What is your CTC? We should ask, are you happy with the job? But most of the times we emphasize CTC. So that's where the problem starts from, at our own end. And the second one is, we have to change at, the macro level, the system, a small change, a small law cannot change, cannot stop these frauds. Okay. It has to come from all the directions. There has to be change in the way the board is functioning. There has to be change in the way the CEO and senior managers are functioning and the way employees are working and the way the court systems are functioning. It is a systematic problem, please. Just by introducing one law or a new provision, it will not stop the fraud. Okay, and at the same time, all of we are responsible. We have to reduce our, we have to increase our standards. This is
small clarification. What should be the relationship between the education system and this, frauds or whatever we call?
Sir, in an educational system, the first thing we should let down, the marks, keep marks down, and give importance to the decision of the student.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Please, since many of them have to leave the place here,
Okay,
we will
right.
discuss it later.
Okay, right. Okay, right. Please continue.
So, any other query, please? Any other query? Sorry, I can't hear you. So I'm addressing the role of independent directors. The role of independent director is very simple. They have to play their role. But I wonder, most of the independent directors are, known people, and I doubt whether they have enough subject knowledge. Okay, so please look at the knowledge of independent director and in relation to financial shenanigans. I'm very sure that, there will be less number of frauds. Okay, but if independent directors are just, the car driver and, the domestic helper, I don't think, the independent directors will prevent the frauds.
Sir, I have a question, sir.
Yeah, please go ahead. Be brief and go ahead.
Few of the techniques you have mentioned require companies' internal data. So to identify the frauds, we should have the access to internal data, right?
No, I'm sorry. None of the models which I suggested require internal data. Tell me which model you are talking about. None of them
regarding the accruals.
No. Accruals are nothing but, you read more, please. I did not go into details because it looks like, the PhD class. Okay. Accruals are nothing but, the PAT minus net cash flow from operations. PAT minus net cash flow from operation. Both the variables are available in the annual report and in the database. You can do it. I can calculate accruals of millions of company if I have data in 1 minute. And data I can download it from database or I will collect it manually from annual report.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Am I audible, Rajappa?
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much for sparing your valuable time. In fact, congratulate you for identifying the researchable ideas very well.
Thank you,
And
sir.
as you rightly mentioned, most of them are based upon the secondary data.
Absolutely.
Hence, the people, especially the PhD scholars, should be able to use them because the research in accounting area in South, as rightly mentioned by the president of the chairman of the Hyderabad chapter, as mentioned earlier, many of the youngsters should have been there. Many PhD scholars have not attended here directly. At least those who have attended online, they should start working on this secondary data analysis, which is very useful to them.
So,
And as all as we always we invite a practical person first who
yes,
has
sir.
been dealing.
Sir,
One issue I would like to clarify even to you as well,
sir.
that all independent directors we cannot generalize.
Sir.
As we have the India's best award and best independent director awardee in our audience,
Oh,
you find
great.
that people who want to be independent, they can be independent.
Yes.
People
Yes.
who prefer not to be independent, though they are appointed as independent director, nobody can have. That's my view. Anyway,
Sir.
thanks for the data, and also I appreciate the organization for conducting this program on behalf of IAA. In every IAA, we call one chartered accountant to give us a practical exposure of what is happening presently. And we invite a research academic professor to identify the researchable areas and also speak more on methodology.
Sir.
So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone, for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you so much, sir. Such an informative session.
We would now like to invite Dr. Srimati Raghunandan, ma'am.
I will sum up in one sentence. People like Inauguration are those who have not native. They are not bothered. But people like me who is bald head, we carry a long comb. Yes. Because they want to show that they are very beautiful. So the Shenanigans are, for externally they want to show. That's it. That is the basic human behavior.
Yes, sir. Now we would like to invite Dr. It summarizes the essential takeaways from this seminar.
Good evening to all the ladies and gentlemen of this august gathering. I, Dr. Srimati Raghunandan, submit the rapporteur's report of the National Seminar on Financial Shenanigans conducted by the Department of Commerce, Government Seminar Association, Indian Accounting Association, Hyderabad. This seminar was inaugurated with lighting of the lamp and Bhavan's prayer by our principal, Dr. G.S.V.R.K. Chowdhury sir, along with Dr. D. Obal Reddy sir, Chairman, Indian Accounting Association, Chief Guest of the seminar, Professor V. Aparna sir, President, This seminar was addressed by eminent resource person as well as the guest of honor for the day, Mr. P.R. Ramesh sir, former chairman Deloitte, who enlightened the participants by highlighting on the global frauds committed till date within various headlines quoted in news on day-to-day notice. Mr. Ramesh sir has also listed the types of frauds such as management frauds, technical frauds, cyber crimes, etc., which is causing billion-dollar loss to the global economy. He also added that the various regulatories have been introduced to detect as well as to mitigate such frauds. The guest speaker of session 2 of the seminar was Dr. Achappa Shetty, Associated Professor IAM Kozhikodu, who delivered valuable insights on the effect of financial shenanigans committed on financial statements and also its effect on qualitative disclosures. Dr. Achappa sir has also highlighted various models to detect financial shenanigans along with insights on researchable ideas for researchers. Both the sessions was followed by an active interaction with the speakers. To sum up, it was a great endeavor initiated by the Indian Accounting Association with an objective to create an awareness of financial shenanigans amongst the researchers, academicians, students, and other delegates who participated in blended mode in this seminar. I thank Professor Indrakanti Shekhar sir, Professor Patrick sir, retired Professor Achalapati sir, Professor Krishna Kumar sir from Osmania University, and Professor Ravindranath Salaman sir, Head Department of Commerce, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar University, for gracing this seminar. I thank on behalf of Department of Commerce, Bhavans Vivekananda College, for giving me this opportunity to submit the Rapid report. Thank you.
Thank you.
All good things must come to an end, but the knowledge shared today will surely leave a lasting impact. With this, as a token of appreciation, we now request our beloved principal sir to present the mementos to our Chief Guest, Professor V. Apparam sir, President of Indian Accounting Association, and our esteemed speaker, Mr. P.R. Ramesh sir, former Chairman of Deloitte.
Just I will take only 1 minute. I congratulate Bhavans College Management and Principal for the successful conduct of this one-day seminar. I also appreciate and congratulate both the resource persons, Sri P.R. and also Dr. Rajappa, who addressed online. And I take this opportunity to congratulate Professor G. Naresh Reddy. He has received Best Teacher Award from Government of Tamil Nadu. I wanted to inform that after receiving the award, this is the first program we are conducting Bhavans College. Okay. But anyway, for the information sake, yes, I am sharing. So with this, thank you very much.
We now request Principal Sir to present the memento to Mr. P.R. Ramesh Sir, former Chairman of Deloitte.
Again.
I now request our Head of Department, Mrs. L.V. Kamladevi Ma'am, to present the memento to AIA Chairman, Professor D. Oboledi Sir. I request Sanjeevna sir to present and give the memento to Professor G. Naresh Reddy sir, the Secretary of IIA Hyderabad. I request Uma Jayankar ma'am to give the memento to Professor Dr. Ravinder Solomons, Joint Secretary of IIA Hyderabad branch. Ma'am. I request Mrs. Ratna Sharma ma'am to present the memento to Professor Indrakanti Shekhar, Sir, Treasurer of IIA Hyderabad branch. We also would like to felicitate Professor Achalapati sir with the portrait plan. I request Thirmal sir to present the portrait plan to the sir.
As a first president. Right, sir. You are the founder president. Yeah, that's fine. Thank you. Pleasure always to come to the college.
Now I request Nidhi ma'am to present the portrait plan to Professor Krishna Kumar sir.
I request Professor Patrick sir to receive water pledge as a token of love from Bhavan's College.
Now we would like to felicitate Naresh Reddy sir. It's the best teacher award.
Professor Naresh Reddy sir.
ఏదో అయిపోతుంది మీరు తీసుకోండి కాఫీ తీసుకోండి అయిపోతుంది సార్
And he has received the best teacher award on the occasion of the national seminar with Bhavan's Vivekananda College. Principal Dr. GSCR Chaudhary sir and Professor Aparaj sir, felicitate Dr. B. Naresh Reddy sir. So congratulations sir. And you will deserve it sir.
As we conclude, we would like to invite Dr. Uma Jayankar ma'am, co-convener, for the vote of thanks to express our gratitude to all the dignitaries and the participants for making this seminar a grand success.
It's a privilege to propose the vote of thanks today to all the dignitaries present here, to all the participants who have attended online and offline. On behalf of our institution, I express my sincere gratitude to our chief guest, Professor V. Apparao, President, Indian Accounting Association, for gracing the occasion and sharing his valuable thoughts. I am immensely thankful to our guest of honor and speaker for today, Mr. P.R. Ramesh, former chairman, Deloitte, who has accepted our invitation and spared his very valuable time to grace the occasion and share his wisdom on the complicated and unacquainted topic financial shenanigans. So to be frank, we never knew about it. We have heard about various frauds. For the first time, you have given the history of what all happened and how it happened. Thank you so much, sir. I express my heartfelt thanks to the dignitaries from Indian Accounting Association Hyderabad branch, Professor D. O. Reddy, Chairman, Indian Accounting Association, the Vice Chairman, Dr. C.H. AVSN Murthy, who could not be present today, CMA Professor G. Naresh Reddy, Secretary, Indian Accounting Association, Professor Indraganti Shekhar, Treasurer, Indian Accounting Association, Dr. Ravinath Salomon, Joint Secretary, Indian Accounting Association, for blessing of the occasion amidst their busy schedule and cognize the audience with their invaluable thoughts. My sincere thanks to Dr. Rachappa Shetty, Associate Professor, IIM Kozhikode, for assimilating his knowledge to the participants so as to instigate their research progress on the topic financial shenanigans. Sir, you were too good, and it was totally out of our thinking and out of our level of thinking about such kind of frauds can happen and how it can be researched. It was really very, very helpful, sir. I think as teachers who are into accounting and finance, it was a great help, and we would like to start with our basic research with whatever inputs you have given. That was really good, sir. I express my heartfelt gratitude to Group Captain, retired D. Ramanaya, Honorable Secretary, Bharati Vidya Bhavan, Sainikpuri Kendra, for his support in conducting the national seminar. My earnest thanks to our energetic and dynamic principal, Dr. GSVRK Chaudhary, who has been a pillar of strength in providing constant support for all the activities we undertake. I extend my hearty and sincere thanks to Mrs. L.V. Kamala Devi, Head Department of Commerce, for her encouragement and motivation to organize the event. I convey my gratitude to Professor Achalapati, Professor Krishna Kumar, Professor Patrick, and Dr. Ravindranath Salomon, who have taken their time out. I mean, I can understand the kind of the impact this seminar is having. Like all learned people, Achalapati sir is a guru of Rachappa Shetty sir. He has also attended the program, and he has enlightened and he has spoken about the frauds here, and he has discussed about the frauds also. I mean, like what is the role of an independent auditor and all. So my sincere thanks to all the learned scholars here, great professors here. Also my sincere thanks to all the teachers who have been a part of this organizing committee for the smooth conduct of the program. My sincere thanks to the students of MCOM who were the greatest support for us from the beginning for organizing this program, and also few of the BCom students. Success of any event undoubtedly depends upon the participants, response of the participants of that event. I thank each and every participant who has taken initiative to be a part of the national seminar to enrich their knowledge. Last but not the least, I express my gratitude to Mr. Sridhar and his team for their assistance in the conduct of this program. Thank you one and all.
All faculty members, please. Pardon. Please. Students We want the state bank. They say as good things.
Give a thumbs up. Thank you.
We request all the dignitaries and the faculty members, please join us for our please.
Next.